You're way too beautiful, girl. This girl is driving me crazy. She's accidentally sexy. Would I have loved to have pounded on that P word? I'm going to be telling stories of federal investigations, some of which I did back when I was an FBI special agent, some of which were other people's investigations. Because I'm going to tell you the story about what happened, the crime, the investigation, the trial, if there was one, or the plea, the conviction, and if it's a fraud case, the loss amount. And your job, Matt Cox, is to guess the sentence that was given out to these people within a 20% variance of what the real sentence was. Ready to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Colby, you going to keep score?
Yeah, keep score. How many stories do you have?
A dozen.
A dozen. Okay.
Now, some of which have more than one defendant, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, so we're gonna say over 50% is a win for Matt Cox.
Over 50.
Yeah. So you got to get more than half.
There's a 20% variance and 50%.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So you got to get over half of them right to win.
That's doable. That's
last time it was like 4 of 12.
Yeah, last time was kind of miserable. I've not chosen these stories I've chosen the stories for their entertainment value. I did not choose them based on the crazy variances in sentencing that just tend to happen. Okay. So the first story I want to talk about involves one of these kind of nitwits you see in some cities, and you've been around the block a few times, Matt Cox. You ever been to a city and you see a guy who's really into birds? Like he's feeding the birds and putting bird seed on his body, and the birds are like eating the seeds off of him. It's a weird pathology.
Weirdos.
Yeah, kind of a weird pathology. Well, the guy I'm going to tell you about is named Vaughn Sherwood, and he was the Birdman of Honolulu, Hawaii. This guy was way into birds, almost like a fetish. Okay, but we'll get to that part.
Was it ornithology? What is it called? Is it ornithology?
Something like that. I think that's the study of birds.
Yeah.
I don't think he was as much a scientist as much as an enthusiast. Sort of the bird version of a crazy cat lady.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Now, regular fans of the Matt Cox Show, and they all should be regular fans, might remember a story I told an episode or two ago about a couple people who scammed the University of Hawaii with a fake Stevie Wonder concert.
Yes.
Go back and watch that episode, people. It's a fantastic episode. You should watch it. Revisit all the Matt Cox episodes.
With Tom in them.
Well, mostly.
Tom Simon.
Those are the most important ones.
Yeah.
But from that case, I got to know the legal department at the University of Hawaii.
Okay.
So after that case was done, they call me and say, Tom, we got a weird situation. Can you come in? And I said, yeah. So I went back to the University of Hawaii, lots of hugs and kisses. It's Hawaii. That's how they roll. Everyone's seeing each other again. And I sit down. I go, so what's going on, fellas? And they say to me, we got a weird situation. And they put down 3 different student ID photos, each with a different name, but the same face.
Okay.
This guy had registered as a student 3 different times at the University of Hawaii under entirely different names. Now, you may ask yourself, Matt Cox, why would someone do that?
Yeah.
Any theories?
Was he, like, each time he had been expelled from like maybe he got expelled, so he changed his name and re-registered, changed his name. I could think of that, but...
You're thinking in terms of learning. This guy had no interest in learning. No. What he had a great deal of interest in is getting student loans. Because when you get a student loan, you not only are paying for your tuition, but the student loan gives the student extra money for rent and living expenses while they're a full-time student. Mm-hmm. And so Vaughn Sherwood ended up doing that and getting and registering as a student 3 times at the school. I don't even know that he was really attending the classes, or maybe they were taking some classes online at the time. So I started looking into this guy.
Yeah, you would need like a social. You have to give him your social.
Yeah.
You have to give him everything. You'd have to have a full profile.
This is a story of an identity thief, sir.
Okay, well I thought it was about birds.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So, as I began to kind of look into this guy, Vaughn Sherwood, and what he was all about, I found that he had 8 different names. 8 different social security numbers, 8 different dates of birth. He had 8 different identities that he was running at once.
I'm liking this guy.
Clever guy,
yeah.
Very prolific identity thief. And he was living in Waikiki in an apartment, but he was misrepresenting his financial situation to receive governmental benefits. I'm talking welfare cash payments, food stamps, medical benefits, Section 8 housing for 14 years. The taxpayer, was paying his rent in Waikiki.
Well, that's got to be in the millions.
We'll get there. He also claimed disability, and so he was getting Social Security disability benefits, and he also became his own caregiver under a different name, where he received money from the government to be a caregiver of someone on disability.
The person on disability was him?
Yes.
That's brilliant. Sorry.
I knew you'd like this guy.
This is pre-Doge, obviously. Because
Yeah,
Elon would have put a stop to this.
Right. He also, during the same window of time, inherited $360,000 from his parents. And he had assets including a sailboat, a jet ski, and a Mercedes-Benz S420.
What is going on? This guy is very prolific. He's
prolific.
Doing well.
And he was also really, really into birds. Like he was like a fixture in Waikiki. He's the guy who'd lay there on the beach and put bird seed all over his body, and the birds would like eat, be all over him, eating food off of his belly and stuff.
Don't you have to go to school to get the student loan? Don't you have to pass the classes?
I'm a little unclear about how that played out. That wasn't my interest, but I don't know that he was attending classes with any regularity. He had been a convicted felon in the past for something else in his past, and so which becomes relevant later. Turns out that the dollar amount was not so astronomical once we kind of added it all up. He only got away with about $220,000. But
it's hardly worth getting up in the morning. What are you talking about? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but again, he had wealth from other things. But the government benefits, aren't as generous as people think. But he's doing it again and again and again for whatever reason. $220,000. So we do a search warrant of his house. I get an arrest warrant and a search warrant. Get to his house. He meets us at the door, stark naked.
Was he shocked?
Not a pretty sight. Yeah, very shocked. And get some clothes on. We hook him up. Search warrant begins of his house. The apartment rather, in Waikiki, filled with birds. Like just flying free, like Ace Ventura Pet Detective, just birds everywhere. The entire carpet, bird shit everywhere. His place was so dirty, Matt Cox, that there was bird seed that had fallen onto the carpet and sprouted out as plants in his carpet. Yeah. And so as he gets dressed, I'm having the guys take him to the FBI building for interrogation. And the last thing he said is, "I don't think I'm going to get bail. Will you do me a favor? When you leave my windows open so the birds can fly out and be free." In the search of his house,
kind of beautiful. Really.
Yeah. In the search of his house, we found 2 rifles and 4 handguns, including a zip gun, which is kind of like a homemade gun.
Which is illegal, right?
Illegal. Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Convicted felon also.
Okay.
And so that was pretty much the totality of it. So put together the case. Again, the loss amount was not astronomically high, $220,000, but charged with identity theft, theft of government property, illegal firearm possession. Matt Cox?
Aggravated identity theft?
I don't know the difference.
Aggravated is 2 extra years on top of whatever else you get.
I don't think it was aggravated.
Okay.
Or say it was aggravated. I don't know. I don't care. I wasn't too worried about it. He pled out.
I don't know. It sounds to me like 3 years.
So you're 3 years, 36 months is your guess?
Yes. He didn't go to trial.
No, he pled out.
Okay.
He pled out. I want you to think that through.
$220,000. I don't even think.
But again, there's also felon with a firearm.
Yeah, which
also identity theft.
3 years. Okay, maybe if it was aggravated identity theft, maybe 5, between 3 to 5 years. But I don't think the money doesn't even seem like that on its own. Pleading guilty on its own might have been a year or 2. Okay, let's say 5 years. Top 5 years.
I don't want to talk you out of anything, Matt Cox. And if we're just 2 guys talking in a bar, you can give that range 3 to 5 years and be very cavalier about it. But we're playing a game here, and young Colby's keeping score. I don't know. It's weird for me to explain the format of your own show, but I need you to tell me how many months his sentence was, and then we'll see if you're within 20%.
42 months.
42 months is your final answer? Because
Yes.
you were just at 60 months 15 seconds ago, and before that you were at 36 months.
48 months. 48 months. I need to be within 20%. 48 months.
The answer, Vaughn Sherwood was sentenced to 57 months in federal prison. Yes! Matt Cox, on his way to a sweep,
Well, he helped you out with that one.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Listen, you don't know with Tom. I was thinking to myself, this guy's going to get, I was thinking he was going to get 12 months the way, because I know you're trying to, Matt, you think about this. You added it up, and I
helped
thought,
you there. I get the
You don't
assist.
usually help me, though. Last time you didn't help me. You did it the other way, where you were making it seem like it was going to be more and more. I was like, yeah, 10 years. Next thing you know, it was like 8 months.
This is like a double reverse Uno card.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, you can't know. I'm like a poker master.
I can't trust you.
Yeah, I'm a poker
to help
master.
me.
You can't read this.
The Supreme Court said that FBI agents are allowed to lie.
Thank God. Thank God. Another case, Florida case. A case I was a part of, but I wasn't the case agent. It's important for me that people know that. I don't ever take credit for another agent's work. So I did some surveillance on this case and some work. I know you don't care, your audience doesn't care, but I care because I don't want the actual case agent to watch this and think I'm a dick for taking credit for his work.
Got it.
You ever see those weird little gaming casinos that appear to be kind of Chinese-ish and like on the side of like the road in the country? It's like games, win money, casino. You're not in an area where it's a real casino. It's just sort of a small clapboard building, and inside them they're almost like video games that you're playing that are hooked to the internet where you can win money. You ever seen those, or am I talking about?
No, I have, and not only that, I feel like I saw one the other day because my wife actually pointed it out to me and said that sometimes they have gambling games in there.
Yeah.
And because she and her mother, for a very short period of time, maybe a few months, actually worked with a guy that was setting those up.
Right.
Because at a certain point in time, Florida kind of allowed you to do that, and they shut it down.
It's a legal gray area, and I don't really pretend to understand how all that works. And I'm not, I'll play poker with friends and stuff like that, but I'm not a big gambler. But
Right.
I always drive by those. I'm like, how is that allowed? How is that legal? And what is it? Are you going in there and just playing like video slots on a computer screen, and then someone in Beijing is paying you out? I don't get it. But I can tell you that there was one of these places, one of these things here in Florida that got busted by the local sheriff's department, and the guy in charge of it, the owner, manager, whatever, we'll call him Bob, I don't remember his name, was charged with keeping a gambling place. Bob hires an attorney named Michael Osteen. Okay, so that's one character. Bob has his defense attorney is Michael Osteen.
Okay.
But our real character here, the villain that I want to talk about, was the popularly elected prosecutor, whose name was Jeff Siegmeister. He was the elected state's attorney for Columbia, Dixie, Hamilton, Lafayette, Madison, Suwannee, and Taylor counties in Florida. The judicial district that he was in charge of had all those counties underneath. Siegmeister's the prosecutor in this kind of like farm country of Florida. Osteen's the defense attorney. And poor Bob, who ran the casino, is the defendant. Osteen says to Bob, I can make this go away because Siegmeister's kind of open for business. If we pay him a bribe, we can get the charges dropped and you'll have no legal exposure. And Bob's like, sir, yes, sir. And so they decide to do that, and they ask. And Osteen goes to Siegmeister and says, "What's it going to take?" And Siegmeister says, "Here's the deal. I'm selling a bull. You buy the bull for $75,000. This case goes away."
Where were these prosecutors when I was in trouble? Where were these people that were so open for business? I mean, I got a bunch of ethical people on my case. Okay.
So the deal was brought back to Bob. He said, and Bob's like, "Sure, I'll pay the $75,000. Now, somewhere along the line, Bob talked to someone else, and Bob realized that there's an upside for him to be a FBI source for the payment of this bribe.
It doesn't cost him $75,000.
Yeah, basically working both against his own attorney, Osteen, and Siegmeister.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. FBI would love that.
Right. So it's kind of a twofer, right? We have a dirty local attorney who's paying bribes to a elected prosecutor, and then we have Bob in the middle of this who's assisting the FBI.
Had Bob ever been arrested for this, or they just came to him and said, "This is an issue. You may be arrested. It's illegal."
Oh, no. Bob was arrested and charged.
Oh, did I miss that?
No, I apologize. Bob was arrested by the sheriff's department for keeping a gambling place, which is the crime, basically running a gambling house.
All right.
And the gambling house was one of these kind of weird video game-ish casinos on the side of the road. It's not like hiding in some back room, just
Yeah.
advertising out to the public. And so they record Bob. Again, all we have is Bob bringing Osteen the money in 2 different payments, and Osteen then bringing it to Siegmeister. And as I recall, the charges got dropped. And so we kind of have half the case, but not the full case. Meanwhile, Siegmeister also had another legal problem, totally separate and apart for this. He was an attorney, and I'm not sure if he's allowed to have a private practice, but somehow Osteen had a role as a voluntary guardian of an elderly individual, like a legal guardian, kind of paying the elder person's, and he rips off $500,000 from the old lady he's taking care of, basically, through false accounting entries, misreporting, and then he also fails to report these items on his tax returns, which is also a no-no.
This guy's got 3 cases going.
And he's an elected official. Osteen gets arrested. I interview him. Not fully cooperative. Clearly has a story to tell. Siegmeister gets arrested. Digs in his heels. Osteen and Siegmeister both plead guilty.
Okay.
So the attorney who facilitated the bribe shook down his own client for a bribe, and Siegmeister, who accepted the bribe and also ripped off a little old lady for $500,000.
Okay.
So that's the facts that you need to know. I haven't answered any questions you have, but that's everything. They have pled guilty. What would their sentence be?
So Bob, what was it, like a pretrial intervention? He never went to jail at all.
I don't know if Bob had to. Yeah, Bob got a deal for cooperating. Yeah. It was never a federal case, so the U.S. government could not give him a deal. But I don't know that the state of Florida had any appetite for Bob after him being shaken down.
We know Siegmeister wasn't going to do him any favors.
Right.
So the prosecutor, I would say, doesn't have a criminal record, but it's, public corruption, it's taxes, and I'm pretty sure that a federal judge would look very unfavorably on that situation. Specifically, the elderly, in combination of the elderly and him being in a position where he was elected. He's got a position of trust. He's got all kinds of problems.
Let me give you the charges. Siegmeister pled guilty to conspiracy, extortion, wire fraud, and tax fraud. Osteen, the defense attorney, pled guilty to extortion because he's extorting his client.
Right.
And failing to file currency transaction reports, kind of a technical violation there. And again, both guys pled guilty and avoided a trial. So those are the charges to which they pled guilty.
I'm thinking the attorney got 60 months. I'm going to say 48 months. The attorney got 48 months, and I'm going to say that the prosecutor got 8 years.
All right. You want to stick with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's start with the defense attorney. What was your prediction for him?
Defense attorney was 48 months.
48 months. His actual sentence was 44 months in federal prison for extorting his client.
You make it sound so bad. Extortion. It sounds bad.
Yeah, you're extorting your client for money. That's really bad. It's bad for society. It's bad for everyone.
He's not sane. But his client wasn't exactly a patriot either, So, but yeah, I hear you. It's wrong.
Okay.
It's wrong.
And you're well within your 20% variance for the attorney. Now, for the prosecutor, you said 8 years. 8 times 12 is 96 months. I'm a little unclear why, but Siegmeister only got 40 months. He got less time than the defense attorney who shook down his client. I think my impression, and again, I wasn't there in court for the sentencing, is that the judge really was offended at the idea of a defense attorney shaking down his client and kind of subverting the system like this, and even bringing this to Siegmeister.
But it was expected from the politician. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
See, I would think they both held a position of trust, but I would think the position of trust, you stole $500,000 from some old lady's pension fund that you're taking care of. You're also in a position of trust there.
Right.
And you accepted a bribe. Like, to me, he's more culpable, in my opinion, than the attorney is. So that's why I thought
ethically,
he got more.
I don't disagree with you.
And he stole a lot more money, and he accepted a $75,000 bribe.
Right. Yeah.
And this guy's got. But he lost a bowl. he lost a bull with really worth $1,500.
Beat up whole bull.
Yeah.
There was an order from the court that he needed to forfeit $518,000. Edwin Calliston.
Edwin.
He worked at the Kauai Humane Society. Okay, on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, where I used to be an FBI agent.
I felt like that.
He was injured in 1976 while working for the Kauai Humane Society, and he received a $1,500 a month workers' compensation settlement for that
Okay.
because he was unable to work ever again after this injury.
Permanently disabled.
Permanently disabled. I don't really quite understand the mechanics of workers' compensation, but the money is coming from the Workers' Compensation Fund, which is a state of Hawaii fund.
Yeah.
Okay, so the state is paying that. I'm assuming that the Humane Society is paying for that kind of insurance from the state for workers' compensation. I think that's how it works. Not my expertise. Don't come at me in the comments if I got that structure wrong. But I do know that it's state of Hawaii money. Every month goes into this guy's bank account for $1,500 because he's unable to work because he got bit by a dog or something like that.
Right. I was going to say,
In 1976, when you and I were 6 years old.
Right. That's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. He's got a daughter named Lindsay. She becomes a character in the story in a little bit. 1990 rolls around. Mm-hmm. Edwin dies.
Sad.
As people tend to do. He was living in California when he died. But
Hawaii doesn't know it.
But Lindsay does not report his death to anyone.
I don't feel like it's her responsibility.
She keeps it under her hat. Now, she does have a joint bank account with Dad in case anything happened.
What?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people do that. You got an elderly relative. It's easier to put me on the bank account with Mom than to kind of deal with probate and all that. Guess what? The state of Hawaii continues to deposit $1,500 a month into Lindsay and her father's bank account.
Right.
And as a tribute to her father, she takes that money and enjoys it.
Right. Dad would have wanted it that way.
Presumably, yeah. And so, and every year, because there are safeguards in place, the state of Hawaii sends dead Edwin a letter saying, "Hey, bro, you still alive?" And then, and Lindsay opens that letter every year, signs it, sends it back in. Doing well, Hawaii. Aloha to you here in California. Love and kisses, Edwin. And she continues to accept that money. It's like $1,500 falling from the sky on the first of the month every month, supplementing her life.
It's an extra $18,000 a year.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good at this. Yeah. And for 21 years, Matt Cox, this continued undetected until the state of Hawaii ran the numbers and said, you know what?
Roughly 200,000.
Well, no,
Colby pulls out his phone.
We'll get there. I have a number.
Wait, it was 20 years?
For 21 years.
Oh, wait, no, that's 400.
Yes.
Close to 400,000.
Correct. For 21 years, this continued until the state of Hawaii kind of ran the numbers and saw that Edwin's like 105. Mm-hmm. And they're like, something stinks here. And they begin looking into it and discover that he's dead and contact my squad at the FBI to investigate it.
So this is like the Hawaiian Doge got a hold of it.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, someone's going to realize that there's a 105-year-old
You
guy
would hope.
who's been enjoying a monthly benefit for 21 years. And your math is impressive because the loss amount was $400,000. Nice. Lindsay, confronted by my colleagues, confesses, comes in, and pleads guilty. Mm-hmm. How much time are you going to give Lindsay for this $400,000 fraud? That should shock the conscience, but I'm sensing your conscience is not shocked.
I mean, I feel like...
Give her the key to the city, send her on her way, put a layer on her neck and say, don't do it again, Lindsay.
18 months?
Really? For a $400,000 fraud?
Yeah.
Again, keep in mind, she's forging a document every year.
It's one document. I mean, they're depositing it.
18 months is your guess? I'm not trying to influence you either way.
Maybe,
I'm just curious.
Maybe
your moral compass surprises me because this doesn't offend you at all.
State money.
State money. It's my money. I was a taxpayer there.
You're right. 12 months. No. Let's go 36 months. I'll go 30.
Dude, I'm not trying to talk you off your first guess at all.
24 months.
24 months.
24 months.
24 months is your guess?
It's 400,000. And she missed her dad. It wasn't her responsibility. I mean, I don't.
Matt Cox, you are good at this. The sentence was 21 months.
Oh, okay. I was good with 18. 18 was good.
I'm never ever trying to talk you out of it. I'm trying to tease the answer that you want out of it. Okay, because
people are going to say that you're helping me.
I'm not helping you. I'm not helping
My
you.
My first one was 18,
which also would have been fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just. I just like Regis Philbin. I just want to know what your final answer is. Okay.
Good. It was good. Yeah, poor chick. Yeah, she probably went in. Probably only did 8 months before they put her in for a halfway house. She probably did 8 months incarcerated and then went to the halfway house. And she's got a restitution payment. And yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not too bent out of shape about this case. For the record, I'm not so strident. I'm like, string her up. She must be stoned in the public square in Waikiki. I mean, she did wrong. The system worked eventually. You ever do time in state prison?
No.
What? I don't
know.
You're probably the most high-profile ex-prisoner in America.
Oh my gosh!
I'm serious.
No, there's others. There's a couple other guys. No, yeah, no.
I mean, who talks very openly about the prison experience. Yes. I mean, you are an expert in this field. I just didn't know if you had ever been to a state prison. Every time you were in for anything, it was federal.
Yeah, well, I went in. I did do a few days or county. I got arrested one time. When I got arrested by the FBI, I also got arrested by the county for basically the same crime.
Mm-hmm. How much time did you have to spend in the county?
Like 5 days.
Okay.
Nothing. It was.
Was it a noticeable nightmare between county versus federal?
No, because the county jail, even when you're in county jail for the feds, it's called the U.S. Marshals holdover. It's still county jail. They just have a contract. So they're like, oh, you're in federal holding. It looks like a county jail, fellas.
Yeah, it's usually in cities where there's not a federal detention center.
Yeah, they can't have them everywhere, right?
Right. So it ends up being a good deal for these county jails because they're getting good rent for you every night to give you a bologna sandwich and a place to sleep.
Yeah. I never minded the bologna sandwiches, actually. Never really had a bad bologna sandwich. Guys complain. I like bologna sandwiches.
You're a man of discerning taste.
I feel like a bologna sandwich right now. I feel like they might go get one. Okay, so.
But I'm here to, Bayside State Prison in Leesburg, New Jersey had been riddled with problems for years. A majority of the cells lacked air conditioning of any kind.
I hate that.
And in the summertime, the temperatures, like day and night, exceed often 90 degrees, right? So tempers run high in that type of situation. Frayed nerves among the inmates and the staff, which often led to violence, fights, and stuff like that. So there's a corrections officer called John Makos. He supervised inmates working in the kitchen. And he had like a crew of guys. And even though he was the corrections officer and they were prisoners, this crew of like the dozen guys who would make the food, they were like his little gang, and he was like their leader. You know, I imagine he would give them extra bologna or whatever is going on there.
Right.
And he gamed it out so well that he knew, and I'm curious if you experienced this as well, exactly where the cameras were inside the prison, and he knew where the dead zones were that you could be unmonitored. Was that a thing for you guys? You can't they
don't have cameras everywhere. Like there's hallways and little rooms and little.
Was that relevant and pertinent to your life as a prisoner to know what the dead zones were?
Not me, but I wasn't like, what the guy they call doing dirt, I wasn't doing dirt. So, guys would walk over to like, hey, come over here with the blind spot,
Yeah. Well, corrections officer John Makos was doing dirt.
That should be the name of the episode, Doing Dirt.
Doing dirt. When a prisoner would kind of break the rules, John would bring them to one of these dead zones and have his kitchen henchman beat the heck out of the guy at John's command.
Okay.
Are you shocked by this?
I'm not really. State prisons, a lot of the inmates are extremely violent. It's extremely violent and environment. And the correctional officers don't get paid a ton of money. And, listen, there are correctional officers that are in there that are gang members in charge of the other gang. Like, wow. I've heard horror stories about some of the correctional officers. And I many times guys would come from state or had done state time and come in the federal system, and they were just like, "This is amazing. This is great. There's air conditioning.
Yeah.
The food is edible. You can go back for seconds." They were just like, "Oh my god!" Like, they loved it, and they would tell you horror stories. I used to walk away. I said this the other day. There was a guy that used to tell stories, always telling stories about state prison. He'd be losing one time in state. I just it would make me sick to my stomach. Every story was horrible.
Yeah.
And I was like I don't want to hear about this. It's so bad.
It sounds like a nightmare. Whereas in the federal camps, everyone's practicing their pickleball swing.
How is it?
Yeah.
There's karaoke night.
Saw that Elizabeth Holmes lady like walking with the weights in her hands the other day in prison on the internet. And karaoke, that's funny. So one time, John watched and did not attempt to intervene when multiple inmates under his control pinned a victim to the floor and punched him 25 times in the head. Mm-hmm. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Brain damage?
That prisoner ended up, he talking to his attorney who complained. The FBI had heard rumblings that there were issues there, specifically involving John. FBI launches an investigation. People cooperate. It's not on video, but they have enough. And, there's the Newark office of the FBI. And they ended up charging John with the kind of civil rights violations associated with being a corrections officer, beating people and doing stuff that's just absolutely illegal.
Right.
John pleads guilty to this crime. And again, the charge to which he pled guilty to was very specific to the beating of that one inmate with the 25 hits. But within his pre-sentence report, it came out that this was not an irregular occurrence of him kind of running this gang.
Right.
So you got a state corrections officer in a highly volatile, problematic prison environment, running a gang of people and violating the civil rights of somebody who did not die but was beaten pretty badly, again, 25 times while laying on the floor in an organized effort while John, the corrections officer, watched on. Pleads guilty. What would his sentence be?
They gave those Rodney King cops a bunch of time, didn't they? I don't know. Let's say 72 months.
72 months?
I'm just guessing because I have that's such an odd, I have no
I know,
basis.
it's easier for fraud cases, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's just a math problem with the
drugs.
sentencing guidelines. Yeah.
Because I've heard so many guys drug cases, but when they're or bank robber, like the cases I've heard, and I knew guys that robbed 3 banks and used a note, and he got 3 years, and you're like, why? Well, I used a note, and it wasn't threatening, So I know I have that. But this, let's say 72 months, because I feel like it's a real. I feel like it's a really serious crime. Mm-hmm. But what I've noticed in federal prison is that law enforcement tends to not really care about crimes against inmates.
That's a good point.
There would be guys that would come into prison, and some family member signs a quitclaim deed to their house, and quitclaim deeds, it puts it on the market and sells it and keeps all the money. And you're sitting there going, and this guy, he's writing letter after letter after letter. Law enforcement won't even come to they won't even listen to him. They don't care. They're like, okay, so what? They stole my car. They stole all my furniture.
Absolutely.
They this. And they're like, okay, so what? You're locked up in federal prison. That's your fucking problem.
And that's a shame. Prisoners have civil rights. And so my question then is, when you're guessing that John would get 72 months for the crime that he pled guilty to, is that discounting it for the unsympathetic victims that you feel?
Yeah, because I would think it'd be closer to 10, because this guy could have killed. Who knows how many people he's having beat up? He's having extorted. He's having. So I'm thinking 10, but I'm also thinking the way they look at it, they're just inmates. Does that make sense? I mean, it's horrible.
Your logic's not flawed.
Why? What is it?
72 is your guess?
Yeah.
Correct answer?
Yeah.
30 months.
Oh. Not even close. Okay.
Not even close. Order of magnitude.
So I've actually told this story several times. Yeah. This reminds me. There was a female guard in Coleman in the pen. And this was the pen, Coleman, where I was, there's a camp, a low, a medium, and 2 pens.
Okay.
I don't know which pen it was, but she was in the shoe, right? So that's the hole or
solitary confinement.
It's a special housing unit.
Okay.
It's not special. But so she's the guard in there, and there was one of the inmates that was giving her a hard time. Now, keep in mind, too, by the way, she was married to a lieutenant. Lieutenant was a huge guy. We're talking about 6'4". I don't know if he was Samoan or what. Black hair and a ponytail, but a massive guy. Yeah. And she's in the shoe. One specific inmate is giving her a hard time. He's calling her names. He's giving, whatever.
Sexual harassment?
Harassing him, harassing her, everything. Another inmate, she's known for a decade, and he's also there.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I don't really know.
Yeah.
But this is what I kind of heard, was that there was a conversation between the two of them where maybe the guy says, hey, the one inmate she knows, he says, hey, why don't you put me in that cell with that guy and I'll shut him up. Like, I'll take care of him. And she goes, okay. So she writes up the cell swap, because they're constantly switching cells, right? Every week or two. She puts the two of them together, and as they're going in, she stops him and says, break his legs, or break his leg, or break his arm, whatever. And he's like, I got you. Well, he goes in the cell, but it's not a small guy that's in the cell.
Yeah. No cameras, no supervision.
There's a camera that sees the interactions.
Okay.
So she has a hard time explaining when she stops the guy and she's having these conversations. And she's talking, and you're looking over at the other cell. Like, it's pretty obvious there's a conversation. Mm-hmm. And she says something like, "Yeah, break his legs or something, or break his arm or whatever." And he's, "I got you." Goes in there. Well, the other guy doesn't just say, "Yeah, go ahead, I have it coming." He fights back, and it gets to be a big fight. And the guy she sent in there ends up getting the guy in like a headlock or something, because the guy's fighting. Like, you get to a point where you're like, oh shit, I may not win this.
Yeah.
So I got to do whatever I got to do at this point, because I'm about to I might get my ass beat.
It becomes a law enforcement deadly force issue.
Right. So he goes deadly force on him, and he either breaks his neck, chokes him to death. So something.
He dies?
He kills him.
Oh.
FBI comes in.
Right.
FBI comes in, grabs her. Now, at this point, by the way, they've got the one guy who killed him. Mm-hmm. And when they grab him, FBI comes in because to death. The correctional officers aren't going to investigate. SIS isn't, which is their internal security.
The FBI is the only game in town.
Yeah, the FBI's got to come in. You can't have them doing it.
Right.
They're going to cover it up.
It's also crime on a federal reservation.
Yes. Yeah. So they come in, they interview the guy, and he doesn't lawyer up. What he says is, she put me in that cell. I was just supposed to beat the guy up, but it got out of hand because the guy fought back, and it was really bad, and I got scared, and I ended up choking him to death, and I killed him. And they're like, she put you in the cell? Did she know? Oh, no. She wanted me. Before I walked in, she actually says this. And there's other inmates that have heard the conversation, the bits and pieces of the conversation.
It's good evidence.
So, and there's a video camera. Unlike Epstein, there was a video camera that was working.
With no audio, though, right?
No audio.
So they just see an exchange of two people talking. Okay.
But he's saying it. Other inmates are saying this is what happened. There was no reason for her to transfer the guy.
Yeah.
And so they go to her and they say 10 years. We'll give you 10 years. We know you didn't mean for him to die. Mm-hmm. We're going to give you 10 years. Now, the murderer, the guy that killed the guy, he's getting a sentence cut. He killed him, but he's getting a cut. Like, he's not like we're charging him. Like, he's already got like 30 years. Like, no, we're going to knock some of the 30 years off to get this law enforcement officer or CO. She says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing 10 years. She's not, no, fuck that. I didn't know. I just told him, I just said this. I didn't know that was going to happen. Right. She goes to trial.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she got 30 years or life. Ooh. But she's married to the big guy. Remember the lieutenant she's married to? He ended up being transferred from the pen to the low. I want to say the low or the medium. I want to think it was the low, because he was there a long time. I saw him several times. I actually had a couple of interactions with him, just a brief talk. Like, I had gone in because I wrote something up, and they were trying to get me to drop the write up. Mm-hmm. they'll search guys' lockers and stuff, and they'll take stuff from you. Like, they'll take sodas or whatever, and they'll have a box. They'll be like, listen, what can we get you for you to drop this write up that you wrote up, this officer, you wrote up this, like, it's a headache. Let's quash it. How about I give you 2 sodas? And you're like, no. It's typically it's not like drop it. It's like somebody broke something. Yeah. Like the officer searched my stuff and he broke this or he broke that. That was $5, and they're like, get $5 worth. That's a couple sodas, a couple 6-packs of sodas, and get yourself some honey buns. And we're gonna quash this, right, cops? Yeah, all right, that's cool. Anyway, the chick got like 30 years or life. I want to say maybe 30. I feel like it might have been 30 years. Because I remember, I always felt like, because they were still married. That was the whole thing. They say he actually would go see her.
Yeah.
Because, it's such a gossip thing, all the cops.
Of course.
And they're like, oh, no, they're still married. He goes and sees her, everything. He's sticking by her, the whole thing.
It's interesting to me that the legal system distinguishes between murder and attempted murder. Right? Like beating this guy in the head 25 times could have killed him.
Yes.
It happened to not kill him, and therefore everyone just gets this slap on the wrist, 30 months, whatever.
Right. What's intent?
Had he died in the exact same action, the penalties would have been through the roof, like in the story you told. I mean, and you hear about people shooting somebody, right? We're really rewarding people for being crummy marksmen. Like, like I hit you in the center of mass and kill you, I'm going to the death penalty or prison for life. I'm a bad shot. My shot goes low to the left because I had poor trigger control. I get probation because I just, I shot some ex-con in the hip.
Yeah, it didn't result in an actual death.
Right, exactly. It's a weird anomaly that the results of my of the exact same actions tend to, that's out of my control at that point. Yeah, it has just different punishments. It's always sort of amazed me.
Yeah. I mean, the intent's the same. You still you still intended for him to die.
Another point, when I do stories about dirty corrections officers or prison guards, and I call them prison guards, I get dozens of comments from corrections officers who are furious that I call them guards. But I know that you use that term, or cops. What's your thought there? Like, I started saying corrections officers because I'm not looking to offend anybody. I'm not going to look or denigrate their very difficult job.
When I first got locked up, I said to a correctional officer, I said, where's the other guard that was here earlier? I said, he told me to come back, and he was guard. He's a correctional officer. And I went, and I looked at him and I went, what's the difference? Right. And he said, guard dogs are, he said, that's a guard dog. That's a guard. He said, we're not guards, we're officers, we're correctional officers. And I was like,
is it just a self-esteem thing for them?
I think it is. I think it's like being called maybe if you're being called a cop or something, they go, I'm a police officer. Maybe it's like hold me and have some respect for me. That's what I think. It's a respect thing. Like they feel like it's disrespectful to say a prison guard. Correctional officer makes it sound more prestigious, I guess.
Yeah, because I
don't mean it to be, just like I'm sure you don't mean it to be.
Yeah, it was a weird thing to kind of get like called out on and made to feel bad about, because I didn't mean it to denigrate them or the profession. It's just I guess it's a term that it's very important for them to be thought as corrections officers versus prison guards, which is fine to me. Matt Cox.
People in the comments do that. Matt Cox. Today I have
Matt Cox.
Yes.
You grew up Catholic?
Yes. I was confirmed.
Yeah. Okay. And do you still regard yourself as a Catholic in good standing?
Recovery. No, my wife and I go to like a non-denominational church.
Good. Good for you. In your experience as a Catholic back in the days, do you have generally good experiences with priests, bad experience with priests, or it was just neutral? This is not going in the direction you think it is.
All I could think of is I had interviewed a guy named True Crime Kent, and he said
his first name was True Crime.
He said oh, I feel unwanted, like when I aged out of being of attractiveness for his uncle. I was just like, oh my god,
that's a good line.
So anyway, they were always very priests were always cool. Like that always kind of bothers me because people do the whole Catholic priest. It's like it's a couple of bad apples.
Same here. I mean, I grew up Catholic. I was very Catholic kind of growing up. Not much of anything anymore. But I had nothing but good experiences with priests. Like they were always just kind of cool to me. And I was like an altar boy and like active in like youth ministry. I'd have been a perfect target for a priest who wanted to take advantage of me because I was like
nothing.
They're nothing. Not even a glance. Not even a side glance. I guess I didn't have that come hither look. Anyway.
Oh my God.
There's a priest in St. Stanislaus Parish in Wardsville, Missouri. His name's Father Ignacio Medina. And he had a secret.
Medina makes me think of
Funky Cold Medina.
No. I thought of Medea. I thought of the
dude dressing up like a lady, Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
No, this is Medina, Ignacio Medina.
Okay.
he had a secret bank account.
Oh.
And what he was doing was donors would donate money to the parish.
Not all of it was making the...
And he was accumulating, and he accumulated money from parish donations, accumulated $358,000 in his secret bank account. And when it was time for him to move to another parish, because they move these guys around sometimes for perfectly legitimate reasons, he drained his bank account, and by wire transferring his sister $100,000 of the dollars that he had in his secret bank account, and then he writes a second check to himself for the amount of $200,000 for him to take with him to open up a new bank account in his new city. Okay. He was confronted. The parish figured out this was going on. And his defense to the parish was, no. The church donors donated this money because they wanted to support me personally. I was their guy. I was their pastor. I led their flock. This wasn't just meant for the parish to kind of pay the light bill. This was meant for me to kind of live and thrive and survive. Now, of course, that's not how the priesthood works. But that was his defense. Around this same time, he had a secondary issue. There's a really hot woman in this parish. She was a bombshell. Saturday afternoon.
Did you see a picture? Do you know she was a bombshell?
I know in my heart she was a bombshell. A smoke show.
Okay.
Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. She goes into the confessional to confess her sins, because that's when that happens, right? Before the 5 p.m. Mass on Saturdays. Some people go to Mass on Sunday mornings, Catholics. Some of them go on Saturday evenings. They just can't wait to get it over with. Mm-hmm. He comes on to her and solicits her for sex during her confession.
It's not going to have any repercussions at all. That's not creepy at all.
So these two things come to light. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back with the church, right? They retired him from the priesthood. They said, "You are done being a priest, Father Medina. Beyond this money that you stole, you can't come on to chicks in the confessional and solicit sex, no matter how good looking they are, no matter how much of a smoke show she was." And this girl was a smoke show.
Downward departure, though. Your Honor.
Right.
Look at the photo.
So they contact the FBI, the parish, because they've learned their lesson, the church, about covering shit up.
Right.
And the investigation happens.
Why FBI? I thought like a local cop.
The wire transfer of the money to the sister was interstate.
Okay, but isn't it? Oh, and it's stolen. Never mind. Sorry.
Well, it's interesting you should latch onto that, because instead of charging him with fraud, because really, or something like that, they charged him with interstate transportation of stolen property.
Okay.
For the money that he wire transferred to the sister, which was only $100,000 of the, alleged embezzlement of $358,000, which is kind of difficult to prove, because it really does exist in a gray area. Because the parishioners know when they donate money in that basket, every Sunday, that some of this money is going to the care and feeding of their priest.
Right.
Right. And so the plea deal, because he pled guilty, was for the ITSP, the Interstate Transportation of Stolen Property, for this money that he stole. Now, you're smart enough to know that the attempting to have sex with a parishioner in the confessional is a bit of a red herring, because while that violates canon law, it doesn't really violate federal law. Right. But given the totality of this story, what kind of sentence are you giving Father Medina?
Do they bring up the woman, like, I guess in the sentencing or whatever, they're saying like, and they did this?
Yes. She has the right to go. They'll try and make her. I'm sure they would. Sure, the prosecutor, if he really wants to hammer the person, he's going to really say, "I really need you to come. I would really."
This story came out at the sentencing, or but it wasn't. It wasn't part of the charge.
I'm just curious. So the judge can just take that into account. Oh, wow! Like this person's like.
I think a lot of stuff at sentencing there's aggravating.
That's pretty bad. Yeah,
there's aggravating and mitigating factors about one's life. If like I was abused as a child and that caused me to do it, that's a mitigating factor. If I'm taking the money, if the money I stole, I'm using it for strippers and blow, that's a different thing, right? Versus trying to pay for cancer treatments for my son. So every sentencing, the judge gets to understand the totality of who this person is, so they can, in theory, make an informed decision about how long to send them to prison.
Right. I think he gets 30 months?
And the $100,000.
24 months? 24
Again,
months?
the it was acknowledged that he, exactly what I told you, that he took $358,000 into a secret account, but the interstate transportation of the stolen property, I believe, is only the $100,000.
Oh, the $100,000?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a weird thing, right? Because it's not exactly.
Okay, I thought it was the 300.
I believe the $100,000 was the interstate transportation of stolen property, because I think the sister lived in a different state, but him literally taking the check from one town in Missouri to another, or whether he just held on to the check before the whole thing kind of went sideways.
12 months.
12 months is your guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Answer?
Yeah.
3 months.
3 months.
And
I lost again.
a $7,500 fine.
It's nothing.
And he can't hear confessions ever again. Or at least sanctioned by the Catholic Church.
He could do it privately.
He could go to the mall.
Yeah. He could bring his own wheel. He could make one of these things, wheel it in.
Yeah.
I'm here for a confession.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So little Timmy goes into the confessional.
Okay.
He goes into the confessional. He's 15 years old. He's an altar boy. And he says, I have to confess, Father. He said, I've been with a loose girl. He said, and I've done things with her, inappropriate things, and I want to confess. And the priest goes, little Timmy, he said, who was it? Was it Betty Rogers? And no, Father, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. He says, was it Cindy Martin? No, Father, I'm not going to tell you. I just need my penance and just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And he said, oh, no. He goes, was it Helen Johnson? No, Father, I'm not going to tell you. He says, okay, well, do 4 Hail Marys and a rosary. And he said, and you can't be an altar boy for the next 3 months. And he says, okay, Father. And he turns around, goes out to the confessional and sees his 2 buddies. And they go, what'd you get? He goes, I got 3 months off and 3 good leads.
I like it. All right, not to be a one-upper. Old man goes into the confessional, and the priest says, what are your sins? And he goes, I'm 80 years old, and I've been having sex with a different 25-year-old woman every day for the past 2 weeks. And the priest is like, wow, that's pretty serious. Why don't you say 10 Hail Marys? And he goes, well, but Father, I'm not Catholic, I'm Jewish. And the priest goes, why are you telling me this? He goes, are you kidding me? I'm telling everybody. All right, Matt Cox, you ever get involved in multi-level marketing businesses?
No, but I know a lot about them. Do you have, what am I at, by the way? Am I 3 out of 5?
You're 50%, 3 out of 6, because there should have been 5 stories told, and one of them had. Is that correct? 5 stories.
5
told,
stories have been told,
and then one had double. So you're 3 out of 6. You're right on par
okay,
for
you're doing 50%.
Okay.
But there is 13, so there will be a winner. There will be a winner.
MLM,
multi-level marketing.
Yeah. I know about them.
Are you pro multi-level marketing as sort of an economic model for business?
No, it doesn't
Not really,
make sense. I feel like it's kind of like a pyramid. And
it is.
At some point
it's basically a legal pyramid scheme because allegedly there's some product, right? You're selling soap, or candles,
right?
And the gist behind multi-level marketing is that that very quickly you learn that you're never going to make money selling soap. If you're going to make money at all, and only 5% of the people who get involved in MLMs make money,
right,
it's by talking to your friends and family and neighbors into being part of your soap selling network.
Right.
And that's when it really becomes a pyramid scheme. And people get on me because I'm very anti-MLM. I think it's a terrible economic model built to lose money for people. But people are like, oh, yeah, I make money doing it and all that. But it's the reason it's a scam, and it's a scam, is because the multi-level marketing industry pays billions of dollars to lobbyists to lobby Congress and state governments to keep them up and running.
Yeah.
And not have law enforcement and laws come down on them for being a pyramid scheme.
Right.
Right. So it's Herbalife, Amway, scam. Okay. Penn Foster is a for-profit online high school based in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Right. Again, for-profit schools, kind of a dicey world there. This is a for-profit private high school in Scranton. They graduate 30,000 remote students per year at Penn Foster.
It's a lot.
Think about that. It's it's probably one of the biggest high schools in the nation in that regard. The school employed a director of accounting named Catherine Latosky.
Remote. These are kids that are going
These are
to school
kids
online.
who are going to school online, paying tuition to this for-profit company that is running an online school called Penn Foster. I'm not denigrating Penn Foster School. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But that's their business model. But they have a director of accounting. This is where the story takes place, named Catherine Latosky. And she had a company credit card for business purchases. Okay. Catherine also had a side hustle with selling natural cleaning and hygiene supplies for a pyramid scheme. Multi-level marketing company called Jordan Essentials. Okay. And the deal with a lot of these MLMs is that you need to pay your own money as the business owner to buy the inventory to sell the natural cleaning supplies. Right. So the company doesn't they understand the economic model of the MLM and the pyramid structure of them, but they're really trying to sell you the cleaning supplies. They're probably not terribly worried about whether you're able to sell it or whether you use it yourself.
Right.
She spends her own money to purchase the inventory for these non-toxic deodorant solutions and stuff like that. That's when Catherine has a brainstorm. Okay, she's no dummy, Matt Cox. She says, "Why don't I use the company credit card for my for-profit online high school that I work for to buy the MLM inventory to sell at these armpit parties that I throw?" Right?
Well, first of all, because it's illegal, and yeah.
No, but what you're not understanding, Matt Cox, is that she's the director of accounting. She can cover it up in the financial record. She has the keys to the kingdom. She has the credit card and the ability to make the accounting entries to make it seem like these are legit business expenses of the for-profit high school. Capiche?
Yes.
Okay.
Was she planning on paying it back? Did she say she was planning on paying it back?
They all say that.
They always say that.
They all say that. And that's exactly what she did, right? MLMs are a terrible idea. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
But this chick had a fetish for bad ideas. She was also really, really into timeshares.
Okay.
What do you think of timeshares, Matt?
I've never bought a timeshare. I wouldn't buy a timeshare, and I don't know really anybody that has had a good experience.
Oh, do I want to introduce you to my mom? Because she loves a timeshare.
I was gonna say with the exception of maybe the first year or two, and then these people realize like I keep making payments.
You can't get rid of it.
I can't.
It's like herpes. It's like a barnacle on your boat. You cannot get out of it. And when my mother, bless her soul, will die one day, my siblings and I get to inherit her timeshares. You know what else we inherit? The obligation to continue paying the maintenance fees on those timeshares. Thanks, Mom.
I didn't know that.
They can't make you. They can't make
well,
you.
It becomes my debt, my obligation. It's
Right.
an asset that we have to inherit. You cannot get out of it. It is like, imagine if your parents could hand herpes down to you generationally. So what Catherine was also doing, in addition to using the company credit card to pay for her MLM cleaning supplies and hygiene supplies, she was using the company credit card to buy vacation timeshares. Okay?
Right.
She racked up $2 million in charges on her company's, on her employer's cards.
Over what period of time?
5-year period.
How do you hide $200,000?
Again, she's the accounting manager, right? So to the naked eye, to the outside, there had this expense here, that expense there, but eventually somebody there, an audit or whatever, catches it.
Right.
And FBI gets called in to investigate. To her credit, when the FBI agent sat down and said, "Catherine, we need to talk," she confesses to the whole thing. She gives it up because the FBI is good at interrogating.
Who was the agent?
Not me.
Okay.
I wish it was me.
Actually, so what is that? 400,000? Is that 400,000 a year? How are you covering up 400,000 on a school budget? Well, it is 30,000,
and it's a for-profit school,
and
right?
it's 30,000. People a
listen,
year.
I would imagine that a school of this size has extensive IT expenses. If I'm the embezzler in this story, I'm hiding it in IT expenses because it's got to be their entire business relies on having just a whale of an internet connection for 30,000 kids. 30,000 they're graduating that many, so times 4 students.
You know what's funny is in my mind, I'm immediately thinking, yeah, but do you come up with a couple different? Do you go incorporate a couple different IT companies? Do you go ahead and do a couple supply companies? It'd be better if you could feather it in.
Well, remember, it's not a false invoice scheme. It's she doesn't need to create false invoices
because she's saying everything's legit.
All she needs to do is book it to
one audit, and she's done.
Which is what happened. She was done. I mean, spoiler alert, she got arrested. And spoiler alert, she's going to prison. You just got to tell me for how long. Another thing to just keep in mind, the government seized her timeshares. Which ends up, when if you think about it, saddles you and I, the taxpayers, with those actual maintenance fees now that we collectively own those timeshares. So thanks for nothing, Catherine. How much time are you going to give Catherine?
2 million, 5 years.
Wire fraud is the charge.
Yeah. Wire fraud max is 20 years. So.
Nonviolent crime.
Yeah, nonviolent.
Confessed.
She had a choice.
Acceptance of responsibility.
I don't know. 5.
No criminal history.
4 year, 48 months.
48 months.
Yeah.
Which is 4 years.
Yeah.
That's your answer. You want to think this through?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
48 months.
You are exactly right.
Really? Yes.
Nailed it.
You're so underhanded when you try and get me to change my.
I want you to have the courage of your convictions. I'm here for your self-esteem, Matt Cox.
Were you shocked at some of these when you were researching them? Were you some of them you were like, how did he get 6 months? Like,
well, I mean, you could reverse engineer it. Like Father Medina, you could sort of understand that there's a lot of gray areas with the donation in a church basket, and he got charged with moving the money more than he got charged with the actual embezzlement. I mean, you could sort of reverse engineer how a judge could come to this conclusion. And keep in mind, what we don't have the ability to do in this game is see the compelling arguments that the defense attorney is making.
Right. Yeah,
or
he
the
did a lot of
argument
good. He, he's a good priest. So, tons of parishioners are writing letters, and
yeah. So before the show,
the ones he's not coming on to, when he's not hitting on.
Yeah.
What are you doing on Friday night?
She was so hot, man. She was so hot.
He's on
it's a smoke show.
Father,
I wonder, what does she confess to that makes him lick his chops and think it's time to shoot my shot? Poor lady.
Every time she comes in here once a week, talks about going home with some guy at the bar.
She just wanted some peace, and
so did he.
Just another, a piece. Yeah. All right, so I got a bit of an awkward situation here. Before the show, I asked Colby if I could play a song for you to talk about this case, and Colby said, under no circumstances can I do that. With the YouTube algorithm, it would just be a copyright flag, and we would get in trouble. And Colby suggested that I sing the song. I am not a singer.
Hold on.
But for the good of the show that has brought me fame and riches, I'm happy to sing a couple bars and see if you recognize this song.
Okay.
You're way too beautiful, girl. It's why you got me in denial. In denial. You ever heard that song?
No.
I've heard it. It's by Sean Kingston.
It is by
and that's not how it goes.
There's a radio edit that I did.
Well, that's good.
I did the radio edit because the other word that he uses that begins with an S would also get you bounced off of YouTube, Colby. Yes. So I'm thinking these things through.
Yeah, good.
So the song is Beautiful Girls.
Let me hear the real song. This kid was
okay,
so it's to the tune of Benny King's Stand By Me. Do 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 do.
Oh yeah.
Do 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 do.
Keep this in.
It was a hit. It was a or splice it together so I have a musical accompaniment with my a cappella singing. The song is Beautiful Girls by Sean Kingston. His real name's Kishawn Anderson, and he's got himself in some trouble, Matt Cox. He's gotten himself in some trouble. His mom is named Janice Turner. Mm-hmm. Now, Beautiful Girls was a hit back in, what was it, Colby, 2007 or so? And it was his number one song. It was a massive hit. And a catchy tune. I mean, again, it's just he's singing over Benny King's Stand By Me, so let's tap the brakes on his massive talent. But he had a couple other songs that that charted but not number one hits. He had also a couple features on other people's songs, where he's like singing the chorus while the rapper's doing his thing and all that. So Sean made his money back in the day. But his star's fallen a little bit. Sean Kingston really hasn't been relevant in the music industry for well over a decade. But he and his mom thought, well, you know what? Sean's still a name. That song was a big hit. People know that song. It's a beloved song. And we're going to have to monetize this. So they started contacting companies and purchasing luxury items. Okay? And when they would say, well, we'll just wire transfer you the money. And so they bought a bulletproof Cadillac Escalade, many, many high-end watches.
Right.
I didn't know there's such a thing, but I looked it up. A 232-inch high-definition television. Yeah.
It was a must.
Type of thing you'd put next to like the pool so you can like watch the Super Bowl floating in your pool. I didn't know there's such a thing as this. An $86,000 custom bed.
Okay.
Okay.
Is he out of money yet? Or did he? Or...
Well, here's what's happening, though. And so he'd make these deals with these people selling stuff, and they would say, okay, we'll just wire transfer the money to this bank account.
Right.
And they would email them the wire transfer receipts to show that the wire transfers took place, and then the people would send the items to them, and then they were very confused when the money never arrived in their bank accounts.
But he's already got the items.
He's got the items.
Yeah.
He's got so many items.
Right.
Matt, he got $1 million worth of items. Okay, and the sellers were left with nothing but these receipts for wire transfers that never occurred.
Broken
promises. And so it becomes clear that that Sean Kingston and Janice Turner, his mother, were falsifying these wire transfer receipts to buy these items. But they have a way to remedy the situation. They say, hey, okay, I don't know what happened with the wire transfer, but let us keep these items, the bulletproof Escalade, and what we will do is we will have Sean Kingston, superstar, #1 artist, plug your business on his thriving social media. This could be a sponsored content deal.
What's social media? Wait a minute. Hold on.
You want to see what Sean Kingston's followers are?
Yeah, what is it on Instagram?
I'm not sure. This is going to be this is some real-time reporting here on Inside True Crime.
We're not very, I don't really know how to do
Wait. Don't look. I don't want you to see his sentencing.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Sean.
What I was going to say.
It's Sean Sean Kingston.
1.9 million.
Whoa.
Okay, so right, so
On
he's got some muscle. He's up in the Matt Cox area, not down with me.
I think we have the same. Don't we? Or yours?
I'm at 310,000. What are you at?
What are we
on
at?
Instagram?
I don't even know because we don't.
Instagram. Let me check.
You're more famous than I am. I have no ego there.
We're talking about, but we're just talking about Instagram. So.
Okay.
How many do you have?
310,000.
What do we have?
309,000.
No, really?
You're a bitch. You're a bitch.
That's wrong.
Wait, you guys are killing it on TikTok though. I have like 110,000 on TikTok. What do you got on TikTok? You're bigger on TikTok than your Instagram. Sean Kingston had a following on Instagram, but guess what? These people who got the false wire transfer receipts weren't super into the idea of this being some kind of like backdoor sponsored content deal. Right. So Sean and his mom have a problem here, and it was just a matter of time before some of these victims who had sent him again $1 million worth of stuff
start complaining.
Called the Broward County Police Department. Now, the U.S. Secret Service, as you may know, they're really good, better than the FBI, at putting agents on local police task forces.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, they're
okay.
Again, I'm FBI ride or die.
Right.
I worked there 26 years. I love the FBI. Secret Service are better partners with locals.
Okay.
They're really taking the time to kind of embed themselves with the local police and be a federal resource for them. Whereas the FBI hosts their own task force and invites local police to come work at the FBI office. This hits some Broward County Sheriff's desk. He's looking at it and saying, "That's pretty big. Sean Kingston, he's a big name." Looks at the Secret Service agent at the desk next to him and says, "You should make this federal. This is interstate wires involved and stuff like that."
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
When I got arrested and I'm sitting there handcuffed and they start taking, literally they're going in the house and taking TVs, taking safes,
Your stuff.
My stuff. Well,
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm sitting there handcuffed, and with the Secret Service, because that's who arrested me. We're sitting there. These are Secret Service agents that are coming in and they have like Secret Service and they're picking up stuff and picking up all kinds of stuff. And they were at that moment. He said they were like, yeah, we're going in your. They actually took my keys to go into the office and start grabbing stuff. And I was like, I noticed they were all agents, and I went, you guys are grabbing this? I said, you don't have people? He goes, no, you don't have people to do this? And he goes, you're thinking the FBI.
That's
and I just
funny.
remember thinking, okay.
I've carried a lot of stuff out of people's houses.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we had a staff for that.
It's funny because when I saw that guy 6 months later when they came to talk to me, he said, man, he said, that pool table you had.
Wait, this things weigh a ton.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it was a nice one.
Yeah.
He said we just built our new. They just built their new office. He said it was just a little bit too big for us to put in the break room. He was just fucking with me. He's like, well, boy, it was close. We had to end up selling that thing. I was just like, this guy's such a jerk off.
That's funny. So, Secret Service ends up with the case against Sean Kingston, and they get he and his mom get arrested and charged with wire fraud.
Okay.
They
seems appropriate.
They were in denial, and took it to trial.
Oh, that's a mistake.
At the trial, it became clear that while Sean Kingston is hip deep in this thing, Mom is the leader, organizer, and driver of this scheme. She's the one like creating the fake wire transfer receipts and stuff like that. She criminally more culpable than her son Sean, who's also culpable. Jury comes back guilty. These guys are both guilty. Again, we have $1 million in losses, and went to trial. Mom and Sean get sentenced. What sentence did they get?
I feel like it's only $1 million,
Only $1 million.
but they did go to trial.
They did. More than minimal planning. A lot going into this.
It's only $1 million, though.
Only $1 million.
Guilty. I know a guy who got like 3 years for like $3.5 million. Pled guilty and had a criminal. Well, he had one criminal history. I feel like he gets slightly less than her because she's leader organizer. She's more culpable. We don't know if she has a criminal history.
Let's assume that neither of them have significant criminal
Right.
histories. I never heard of such a thing. And
So I'm going to say she gets 60 months and he gets 36. Wait, 3.5. Let's go 3.5.
so you're saying she got 5 years and he got 3.5 years? You're right on both counts.
I saw the TikTok.
You're good.
I told you I saw a TikTok
I know,
this morning.
I know. Well, I mean, there's only so much I can do.
And the whole time you've been talking, I've been thinking, do I come close and say nothing?
As soon as you got it on the nose, I'm like, that's not like the Matt Cox I know. But also watching my shit online is also not the Matt Cox I know. So.
It's not true. I actually watch your stuff all the time because it comes up all the time.
I had another story, but I fed that one in there after I made the video yesterday, and it's doing quite well today. It's a bit of a time warp, right? Because when your fans see this, it would have been a TikTok or an Instagram that I did 2 weeks ago, but it just happened to be the one that aired today. And I know that you guys like celebrity stories for your thumbnails, so I shoehorned that in there and threw out a story I didn't like as much. So this next story has lots and lots of dirty words in it, but I do not want to get you thrown off of YouTube. So we're going to replace the dirty words in this story and my dramatic reading of these dirty words with the letter that the dirty words start with, and your people can fill in the blanks, right?
Yes.
I want to lead with the question, though, because I'm interested to hear I always like to lead with these questions to understand a little bit more about the mind of Matt Cox. You ever stayed in an Airbnb?
Yes.
You ever stay at an Airbnb where the owner of the place is staying with you?
No. Is that a thing?
It's a thing. Like if I'm traveling on business,
You just want a room.
I just need to flop for the night. I'm going to be working all day. I'll be coming in at 10 p.m. I need to sleep for 6-7 hours. Someone has a guest room. They're looking to monetize that. They're not looking to move out.
Yeah.
I stay in the guest room.
Oh, okay.
I've done it.
Really?
Actually, I've had incredibly positive experiences doing it because anyone who's going to do that is going to, by very nature, be kind of a good host, and it's also a nice way to kind of learn about the the neighborhood, the community. Hey, you should go check this out. It's a beautiful thing in our town you would like.
Right.
Also, though, I'm a sizable fellow, and and I'm not worried about getting like diddled in my sleep or anything like that, right? So,
well, do they know that you're an FBI agent coming to? Do you ever say you're an FBI agent?
I don't know that did I ever do this as an FBI? Yes, I did it as an FBI agent because that's how I when I was like house hunting and stuff like that for the moves.
Okay.
It was kind of nice because some of the people I stayed with were like realtors, so they were like really good. But again, I don't know that I would want a wife or a daughter to do that, especially if it was like a dude who owned the place. But I've had like stayed in the guest room of like beautiful single women in Austin, Texas, and stuff like that. And so, universally positive experience for me. You know who it wasn't a positive experience for was a woman named Missy. Missy is a traveling occupational therapist, right? It's like a travel nurse. So she goes to a city and she works at a hospital for 30 days or whatever, then gets assigned. So she's working for like an agency and they fill in. And so Missy rented a room for a month in an Airbnb. And the landlord was the older lady, and her 49-year-old son was also living in the house, in a different bedroom. So mom's in one bedroom, the son Kevin Struts is living in the next bedroom, and Missy is in the guest room.
I feel like I've heard this. Is he harassing her or something, or?
Do you not want me to tell the story? You
No,
want to just try
tell the
and,
story. It feels familiar. I can't remember, but it feels something like.
Well, it's
I feel
entirely
like
possible that
I
maybe you
immediately
saw.
feel like he's a creep.
Maybe you saw my social media posting where I told this story.
Maybe, but
Okay, this is happening in a town called Ceres, Ceres, California. Every time I say it out loud, everyone corrects me that I did it wrong. I called it Ceres, California, or Ceres, California. I know that's not right. So they rent out their spare room as an Airbnb. Missy's there. One day, while she's staying there, she steps into the bathroom, and she sees like a smartphone propped up on the toilet, the top of the toilet, and the Notes app is open on the screen. And the notes read, I'm going to read this in Kevin's voice, if that's okay. This girl is driving me crazy. She's accidentally sexy. I never get what I want, and it frustrates me. That's what's on the screen, man.
he's got just
sitting there. Like it's like weird diary entry. Missy, super weirded out by this.
Right.
Not into it. She packs up her shit and leaves. She reaches out to Airbnb and says, "This is what happened," and they're like, "No problem, ma'am. We're gonna get we'll pay for the hotel." Puts her up in a hotel. But the weirdness doesn't stop there. About a month later, Missy receives a Facebook instant message from Kevin, the guy, the 49-year-old son.
What does it say in Kevin's voice?
Well, I sure wish you would have said something instead of abruptly leaving. You were in no danger. Don't get me wrong. I admire you, but you're half my age and you have a boyfriend. I don't think of you like that. I'm sorry you had to feel that way. My mom almost lost her Airbnb hosting. She doesn't deserve that. I didn't think that went through. I wish you well. Okay, so not the end of the world, right?
No,
sorry, misunderstanding, etc.
Still inappropriate, but that's fine. A little bit.
Missy doesn't respond. A couple minutes later, bing! Another message comes in from Missy. I got the text logs here. That's what I'm reading. Kevin again. I wouldn't want to put you in an awkward position. You're going to find that in traveling the way you do, there's going to be people who are attracted to you. I'm a realist, so I say what most people won't. Would I have loved to have pounded on that P word? Of course I would have, but it's not a reality. I know that. Just a fantasy, plain and simple. Missy contacts the cops. Okay? The police department in Kevin's town and files a complaint. About a month after that, the police have done nothing.
Right.
Bing! Another text message from Kevin. A month later. I just really wanted to F you in the A and then C in your mouth. But you got all scared. Wow. She hasn't responded once. 3 days later, bing! Another message from Kevin. Everything would have been just fine if you would have let me F that tight AP really hard and really fast. As awful as this is, it was escalating.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say it's
It's not getting better, right?
Yeah.
Like my advice to her would just be like, block him, don't say anything, leave it alone, don't respond, don't feed the beast. But and that's exactly what she's doing. And
Right.
it's just going on and on and on. So then Kevin starts sending Missy nude photos of himself, unsolicited.
Clearly.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I got this fact wrong. Kevin starts sending Missy nude photos of her getting in and out of the shower at his house. Also, photos of her brushing her teeth in the bathroom. Only could have been taken with some kind of hidden camera hidden in the bathroom while she was a guest. Sorry, I got that fact wrong. It's a very important fact.
Well, I feel like Mom's gonna lose her Airbnb.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's bing, another message that came with it, and he goes, "Now send me a little video of you rubbing that tight little pee, or I will send out these pics to everyone. It's up to you."
What do they call this when it's sextortion or something like that?
Yeah. At this point, it's sextortion.
Yeah.
Up to that point, it had just been harassment. Right. As you can imagine, Missy's terrified, and so she contacts the FBI, who takes on this case.
So he doesn't get a picture. He doesn't get a little video.
The FBI contacts Facebook to preserve the records. The agents begin to look into Kevin's background, and they see that he has multiple historic arrests for stalking women and violating protective orders, including an arrest for assault with a deadly weapon. Okay. Again, these texts are from the court records. The whole thing is just awful, right? This is the worst creep in the world, right. And Missy had every reason in the world to be scared.
And we're gonna get butchered in the comment section because we're laughing.
You're laughing. It's not funny.
Not funny.
It's not funny. This is not cool. It's not funny.
Inappropriate.
What is funny, though, is my acting performance,
Yes,
and that's what you're laughing at. And I get that. You and I are both horrified by this. So they review the evidence. FBI conducts a search warrant at Kevin's house. The agents arrive. Kevin runs upstairs and barricades himself in his own attic. It takes 2.5 hours to get him out, and the agents interview him in the garage. During the interview, Kevin's like, yeah, I remember her. I remember Missy. And he remembers the circumstances surrounding her abrupt departure. He admitted to sending several harassing messages to her, but he said she never responded, so he didn't even know if she was getting these messages.
So I had to continue.
I thought I was talking to myself. Kevin admitted that he did this to demean her. Those were his words. Mm-hmm. And he has messed with many other people on the internet in the past, he told the agents, and people do it all the time. People mess with each other on the internet. That's what you do, right? In his mind, he's just one of these internet trolls.
No, it's not what you do.
I agree. This guy's horrifying. Agents kind of lean in on him on the filming her in the bathroom. He first denies it. These agents have been trained in proper interrogation techniques. Kevin admits to filming her in the bathroom with a cell phone that he hid in a basket, a wicker basket on the bathroom shelf. And the agents seize his iPhone pursuant to the search warrant and find all the evidence they need. Kevin is charged with cyber stalking.
Okay.
Pleads guilty. What do you sentence him to?
5 years? What do you think? 5 years?
Again, he never laid a hand on her.
Yeah.
Does have a criminal history of this type of thing, right? So the judge wants to send a message and scare the heck out of this nice woman.
I mean, I want to go down like to maybe 3 years, but 5 years seems.
5 years.
If he's got all these other charges, he's got probably a significant criminal history and cyber stalk. I would say 5 years.
5 years, so 60 months is your guess?
Yeah.
Correct answer, Matt? 40 months.
Dang, I thought it was okay.
I was pulling for you.
I feel like you are pulling for me.
I am. Matt Cox,
Yes,
you like romantic comedies?
of course.
Yeah?
Not
That's good.
really.
No?
No, but I'll watch them.
Yeah. I like a good rom-com, as long as the comedy part is good, right?
I loved Wedding Crashers.
That's a good one.
Does that count?
I would say that's a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And probably then that one leans more comedy. But yeah, I like a rom-com.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like meeting your girl halfway.
Yeah.
She gets the romance, you get the comedy. I want to tell you a story. And one thing that's common, I think, in rom-coms is the idea of doing a grand gesture for a woman to make her fall in love with you, or to solidify your love?
Say anything. The say
Yeah,
anything.
right. Standing there with the boombox. Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. I'm not going to sing it, but you get the gist. So there's a manufacturing plant in Paris, Illinois, called North American Lighting Company. Big employer in this small town, right? And they're doing good business. One day, someone calls the company switchboard and says that there is an explosive device in the plant that would soon explode. 2 minutes to detonation, the voice on the phone said. The entire plant was evacuated, right? They can't take any chances.
Right.
And everyone's standing out there while the police or bomb squad are clearing it. They did the economic study and found that by evacuating the plant for the rest of that day, which is how long it took, the company lost $400,000 in production revenue. Right? They're doing good, but you got to keep the assembly lines moving. American manufacturing, right? So the local police call the FBI to investigate, and the agents discover that the call came from an internet burner phone number, okay, like a Google Voice number or something like that. And then, but the agent, they train FBI agents pretty well who do these type of things, subpoenas the internet phone provider, I don't know if it was Google or some other company, to get the IP address of the person who established that phone number. You know what an IP address is, right? Yeah, it's like not everybody does. And
where did it lead them?
They traced the residence to a residence in nearby Clark County, Illinois. Not terribly far from the plant. The home with the internet connection belonged to a kid named, he's grown up, 29-year-old guy, Justin Switzer. And the agent interviewed Switzer, and he confessed to making the threatening call. He just gave it up.
Why?
Why would you do this, Justin? Why on earth would you do this?
I feel like, is he an employee who wanted a day off or what? What happened?
Justin told the agent that the reason he made the threat is because his girlfriend, relatively new girlfriend, was working at the plant, and he wanted to hang out with his girlfriend.
$400,000.
And so this grand romantic gesture is what he did to get her out of work that day so they could hang out. Play Xbox, make love, watch Netflix. I don't know. So
was she in on it?
No, but Matt Cox, he did this for love. Okay,
I feel like a judge is going to be moved by that. I don't feel like there's no downward departure.
I don't know. Is the judge a man or a woman? Downward departure. Yeah. I mean, again, this is the grand gesture that a lot of women are looking for. If you want, based on my romantic comedy watching and TikTok viewing. So he pleads guilty. U.S. Department of Justice, not a very romantic agency.
Was the judge female or male?
I don't know.
And was he handsome? If it was a female judge and he was handsome, she'd. Then what'd you do?
So they
arrested him.
They arrested him. He was charged with making the
terrorist threats.
Well, terrorist threat would be something with a political ideology.
Okay.
A explosive device threat, the B word. And he pleads guilty. You can attribute an economic loss of $456,000 to him. How much time are you going to give him? Let's say he's got no criminal history. For this grand romantic gesture.
No, I don't think that counts.
You're not buying the romance?
I don't think that counts.
You're a hard-hearted
plays
man.
into. It's probably a downward departure for stupidity. It's like you didn't. It's not like you.
Okay, well,
he didn't understand what.
Before you tell me the sentence, you think his girl waits for him to get out?
No. I think that was over pretty quickly.
Ship sailed.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go 5 years, 60 months.
5 years? That's your guess? 60 months?
Yeah, because I feel like it's in the category of like not setting a fire as bad as like arson, but it's still very serious. Although you did it because out of stupidity.
No one got hurt. Keep in mind, there was no device.
Right. There was a huge loss to that company. I don't know. I'm maybe 5 years might be too much, but whatever. Let's say 5 years. I think 60 months.
60 months is your answer.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer? Or do you want to talk yourself out of it?
No.
You're not buying the mitigation for the romantic
No, because I'm
gesture?
doing so bad at this point. I don't.
You're not doing bad. You're doing good. You're doing good. You nailed the Sean Kingston one.
How much is this?
41 months in prison.
Oh, are we close? Am I close? That's close. That's it.
What's 80%?
60 times 0.8 is
80
48.
Oh, no, sir, Senator. 41 months is what he got right outside the. This was an airball. He also was sentenced to pay the company restitution of $456 million.
Million?
I'm sorry, no, $456,000 in restitution. And I don't know if he's ever going to pay.
Okay.
This story is horrifying, and I'm not even like joking. 14-year-old Arkansas girl named Sarah fails to get off the school bus. Right. So mom fears the worst.
So
right?
she was never on the school bus.
Right.
Probably,
Well, I mean,
right.
we
Okay.
don't know, right? We just know that she doesn't get off the school bus that day at school. Local police called in to investigate the disappearance. Police investigators, got to give them credit. They did a good job. Begin kind of going through the house, searching her electronic communications. Can we get into her computer? Where we just, maybe I don't think they have her cell phone. But what they find out is that she had been using her Xbox and communicating on the Xbox. I guess when you're playing video games, you can talk to people and things like that. I'm not an Xbox guy. And she was communicating with a 42-year-old guy named James Melder. Again, she's 14, and she's talking to this guy. And they go to see James Melder, and he's also gone, disappeared in the wind. No one knows where he is. Right. The recovered Xbox messages. I guess can you send instant messages on those, like text messages?
Yeah, you can send direct messages. To
Okay, yeah, because those were recovered by the police, and they show this pattern of grooming where James is convincing Sarah that they're in love and should run away together. Again, creepy 42-year-old guy, 14-year-old girl, like every parent's nightmare. So 6 weeks, they're trying to find them. They're searching for Sarah and James. During that time, go ahead. No.
Well, I was going to say, when was this? Like, you would think that one of these two have a cell phone. Like, James is a grown man. He's got to have a bank account or a cell. He's got to be trackable. Or is he must be taking precautions or something.
Yeah, they're not finding him through any kind of normal electronic means.
Okay.
During this investigation, it was revealed, this was not presented up front from my understanding, that James had dated Sarah's mother 10 years earlier, when Sarah was 4 years old, the little girl. After the relationship ended, he maintained his infatuation with Sarah. Okay? He had his eye on this girl for 10 years, before he made his move.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Xbox.
waited for her to be 14 years old so
Right.
he could pounce.
Mm-hmm. The cops arrest somebody for something else, like something completely different, and the guy's ready to play Let's Make a Deal and says, I know where James and Sarah are. Directs them to a well-provisioned mountain cave. The police go to this cave, and they find that James and Sarah had been living in this cave for the past 6 weeks since her disappearance. The police find them. They insist that they are now man and wife. Sarah confirms that the relationship had been sexual. James immediately placed under arrest. The police call in to shore up the case for federal prosecution because the penalties in the federal system are just higher. They're just more serious for stuff like this. James pled guilty. What was his sentence? And I'm going to give you a hint. You could give it to me in years. Right? You're not going to do a whole lot of monthly math. The hook being the use of the Xbox to kind of set up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is interstate wires in furtherance of functionally a kidnapping.
So I'm thinking about a German guy. I think I've told you this. There was a German guy at Coleman, and he had been in communication. He was probably 40 years old, 45 years old maybe. No, maybe by the time I met him, he was 50. He'd been locked up a while. But let's say 40, 45 or 50. He had thought he was communicating with a sexually curious 14-year-old boy.
I think I see what's coming.
Who turned out to be a 45-year-old pissed off FBI agent.
Yeah.
From Germany, where, by the way, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Got on a plane, flew to America, was arrested at the airport.
Yeah.
He got 20 years. Was that a plea or did he go to trial? I don't know. But he got 20 years. And of course, his whole argument was, I was in my country. What I was saying and doing and was not illegal in Germany.
Yeah.
You came to the United States to meet the kid. And so the American government had no tolerance for that excuse.
Yeah.
And he was, and the whole time he had been there, years, maybe 5 or 6 years that I think by the time I probably saw him, laid eyes on him, he had been arguing or making petitions to the consulate, right, to the German consulate to try and help me get moved to Germany because they'll let him out almost immediately. And they were having none of it.
No.
And he's like, but it's not illegal. You should help me. Like the law says they were like, yeah, fella.
Germany's not going to risk their special relationship with you.
Right.
These video game platforms are a real problem as far as predators going after kids. There's one called Roblox, ROBLOX. It's a video gaming platform where you can kind of design your own games. And I did a story the other day about a guy, another grown guy who romances a 13-year-old girl in Estonia, and he's a Tallahassee guy, and he's getting ready to fly to Estonia, and finally the girl's mom sees that he rented an Airbnb, he went out and got himself a passport. He gets on the plane to fly from Tallahassee to Atlanta, then Atlanta to Germany, and then Germany to Estonia.
He's serious.
The day before he's ready to fly, the girl's mom searches the 13-year-old girl's phone, contacts the local police, who contact the FBI agent, the legal attaché at the U.S. Embassy that covers Estonia, who called the FBI in Tallahassee and said, you get on this guy. They follow him to the airport. They get on the plane with him. They fly to Atlanta and arrest him at Atlanta airport for exactly the same crime that you described. So, and it's interesting because what's the To Catch a Predator guy's name? Chris Hansen. I met him at a FBI conference years ago. Super nice guy. He's everything he seems to be.
Yeah.
He really cares about this stuff. He's right now preparing a documentary on the use of Roblox, this particular platform, for child grooming and all the stuff that he cares so deeply about. So, very similar story to the one you had, and kind of a similar story to this, but this one's more local.
Right.
What are you going to give this guy as the sentencing?
240 months. Right. 20 years.
20 years, your guess? Correct answer? 30 years.
Oh. Yeah, he got his hands on somebody. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The other guy didn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the fact that it was consummated and that he had what we'll call coercive sex with the girl, I think made the difference in that. It wasn't just a plan that got thwarted by an undercover. Yeah. All right, parents watching this, keep an eye on your kids and who they're talking to in their video games. All right, the story starts with a really sad incident. Two police officers in Las Vegas killed in the line of duty. Alan Beck and Igor Soldo were their names. I don't know exactly the situation, but I think they were shot and killed in the line of duty. Total tragedy. Las Vegas, the community, it rocked the community, right? Because these guys were pillars in the community. And so there's a local politician named Michelle Fiore. She served in the Nevada state legislature. And I think at the time she was in the Las Vegas City Council. And she also had lost some elections. She ran for governor of Nevada and lost. She also ran to be state treasurer and lost. So, kind of a very active politician. But again,
kind of.
Well,
she's trying.
Again, she was elected to the Las Vegas City Council and the Nevada state legislature. So she's not some.
She's not breaking that.
She's not a wannabe. Yeah, she just I guess that's the business, right? If you're in local government, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and you try to level up. So she decides to incorporate a charity fundraiser to build a memorial statue for these two police officers killed in the line of duty. And so she raises $70,000 from donations for this. And but instead of building the statue, we okay?
Yeah, what?
We've heard this one before.
We have not heard this one before.
We haven't?
I promise you have not heard this one before.
No.
Maybe I'm getting
No,
confused.
I actually the problem is I think it's common. It's very common. Somebody will start it. People donate, and then they don't build anything.
Right. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Right. So Michelle did not build the statue. She used the money to give herself plastic surgery.
I feel like we've heard this.
If you didn't hear it from me, because this
Okay.
is going somewhere,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
and to pay for her daughter's wedding. Maybe I did tell this story, but I didn't have it. I didn't have. Here's what's weird, though. I didn't have a sentencing if I would have told you this story in the past.
Because it just oh yeah, you know what, you probably told it hadn't happened yet, right? It's pretty recent.
What? When was she
Like
sentenced?
she wasn't sentenced.
Let's continue with this.
Yeah,
Okay, just we'll continue.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So because I remember making fun of the fact that she wasn't that good looking to begin with, and she should have saved her receipts from the plastic surgery. I remember telling you that. But there's enough. But we're getting to the point. After a while, people realized that this police memorial never materialized. FBI opens up an investigation into her reckless spending, and then finds out that she spent the money on this wedding, and spent the money on the plastic surgery. Federal grand jury indicts her on fraud charges. Michelle pleads not guilty, takes it to trial. Government evidence overwhelming. Just
Right.
Slammed her at trial. In fact, I think her daughter took the stand and like pled the fifth or something crazy like that. She's found guilty by the jury. Okay, and this is the point and why I'm bringing this to you today. What do you think her sentence was? $70,000, took it to trial. Disgusting crime, right? This woman's a scumbag. What do you think her sentence was?
3 years, maybe 30 months.
30 months?
It's just not that much money.
That's the problem. The money's not astronomically high,
yeah.
but she takes it to trial.
And she's got some enhancement, sophisticated means, wiring, the money.
Multiple victims.
Yeah. But even then, that's still, I don't think it's maybe 3 years, 36 months. She went trial. 36 months? 36 months? Is that right?
Okay, so Colby, there's going to have to be an asterisk over this one, and I don't think this should count against Matt, because the answer is that 2 weeks before her sentencing, she was pardoned by President Donald Trump.
Oh, my God.
Fairly recently.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so, again, let's set this one aside. I'm curious, do you know anyone in all of your time in the federal prison system who ever got a presidential pardon?
Do I? I don't. Maybe not. No, they were commutations.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
met people that have gotten
Yeah, commutations when they let you out of prison,
Yeah, but you keep the conviction.
but you keep the conviction. A pardon means that the conviction goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Pete would know.
Yeah.
Pete would know.
Yeah. Were your fellow inmates all kind of jockeying for a presidential pardon? No,
No, I don't
wasn't
think
like a thing. Like, is everyone just sitting there writing the president saying, "Please pardon me"? Or no, it's not even a thing.
No, I don't think people even consider that because at that time, prior to Trump, it was
A lot of red tape through the Department of Justice.
well, Obama is the one that I know that gave a bunch of commutations to, and I actually and I mean I meant like 5 guys that Obama gave them
like nonviolent drug offenders. Or?
yes,
that
guys that got like 30 years or 40 years, and you're like, for what? Because they went to trial and they wouldn't testify against their wife.
Yeah.
And they, in this one guy's case, like he got 30 years and he didn't testify against his wife. And literally by he's not even in the pen yet. She's already off, sleeping with some guy. And she ends up getting busted 5 years later. He gets 10 years. And, what I'm saying? It's like what are you doing, bro? You should have cut her throat.
Yeah.
But his commutation, this happened a lot. Initially, guys were just getting let out. And then Obama, but they're coming right back.
Oh, really?
Well, because the way they were doing it was saying, we're going to let you out of prison, not realizing the administration didn't realize at that time, you can't let these guys out. They have no money. They have nowhere to go. You have to do a step down process.
Right.
And so
there's no halfway house.
yeah, why? I have no sentence.
Yeah.
I can't go to a halfway house. So what they started doing with these guys is saying, look, you have to go, we're taking you out of the pen, put you in a low. They would go to like the pen, they'd leave the pen, go to the medium, 6 months to medium, go to the low. And then you have to go through the drug program, go to halfway house, get out.
That makes more sense.
Those guys, almost all those guys were fine. Like they did not come back.
Interesting.
So yeah, there were several guys I met that had commutation, but no, nobody that, and they weren't jockeying for it. And the people that I've heard that like Trump is letting go, a significant amount of the people that Trump's letting go, to me are guilty. And I mean, like, they're really guilty.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Michelle Fiore, there's no question about
Yeah.
her guilt and the fact that she, took money for the memorial for these dead police officers and then stole the money. And it was like 2 weeks for her sentencing. What do you think about that?
I think that a lot of the times I understand someone goes to, they don't feel they're guilty. They go to trial. They never really admit they're guilty. It's questionable. They end up getting 10 years. And the president kind of comes through after a year or two and says, I'm going to cut you loose. Because the truth is, you probably did not deserve 10 years to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, we never found out what she would have been sentenced. I mean, it's not like the judge says, like,
Right.
well, in
But
2
that
weeks
seems-
I was going to give you...
Right. But that seems pretty clear that one seems pretty clear.
I think your viewers may sense my annoyance at this one, but you know what? I don't have a problem with it. Okay, so I did some research into this.
Right.
The White House and the U.S. Department of Justice has never released a statement about why they pardoned her. However, she was a Republican and campaigned very hard for Trump during the election, and Nevada was a swing state,
Right.
a significant swing state, and so Trump, whether you like him or you hate him, he rewards loyalty. And she was kind of a loyal soldier, probably planning for this because she knew she had this legal problem hanging over her head. Here's my thing.
Same thing with Chris Lee's.
I'm all about the process.
Yeah.
And the Constitution allows the president to give a pardon to whomever he pleases
Right.
for whatever reason he wants or no reason at all.
Right.
So I have no problem with this. However, if I had a time machine and could go back to the founding fathers, I would say, guys, maybe we need to rethink this pardon thing.
Right.
It's a holdover from back in the monarchy days when kings could do this. Remember, the founding fathers were all coming out of a monarchy, and they're trying to figure out what parts of the monarchy they should keep and what parts of democracy they should employ, and they invented this system that we have now. I don't like the pardon power of the president.
But he does have it.
He does have it, right? And there's no strings attached to that pardon power that he has. So I have no problem with President Trump pardoning her, even though I think she's a guilty scumbag. But you don't need to pardon innocent people,
Yeah.
right? You pardon guilty people.
I feel like pardons should be, and once again, I'm not bashing anybody because Biden pardoned people,
Of course.
Trump, Obama did. But I feel like you should give a reason. There should be a reason. Like you should say, hey, this person's guilty, but they got too much time.
Before Biden, there is a office at the U.S. Department of Justice, with the Office of the Pardon,
Right.
and so you would apply for a pardon. There was a form, and you would send it to the U.S. Department of Justice. They would vet it out. Oftentimes, they would contact the FBI agent who worked the case and say, hey, do you remember what happened here? Here's a question here. This guy applied for a pardon. Did he cooperate?
Right.
Did he show remorse during the investigation? Could you pull the case file and answer these questions about him? And so there was this really clear vetting process. And then they would kind of go up the hill, and then it would go to the political people at the White House and say, is there going to be political blowback if this pardon is granted? And so there's an entire process. That went out the window. Well, Bill Clinton did a pardon based on a donation to his library in his last day in office by a woman named Denise Rich, who needed her husband pardoned to get out of prison. And then Biden pardoned everybody under the sun. Trump did a bunch of pardons, and he did pardon the January 6ers and stuff like that. And so that vetting process that had been in place, I don't know what those guys are doing now. There's like the Maytag repairmen sitting around DOJ or reading letters from prisoners, but again, I don't have a problem with that. The president can pardon whomever he wants for whatever reason he wants or no reason at all. I may not be thrilled with that, but I don't like the pardon power. But that's the way it is. You would need a constitutional amendment to rip that away, and there's no stomach for that.
Yeah, I like that Biden. So they let a ton of guys out like for COVID, right? They let them out, put them on ankle monitors.
Yeah.
And then there were several times. Then COVID was over. So you got out. You've been out for 3 years. You've got a job. You're working. You're back with your family. And so the BOP was and the DOJ were saying, okay, well, COVID's over. Some of these guys have 5-6 years left. We want to yank them back and put them back in prison. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
Like, he's been free for 3. Like, are you torturing these guys?
I know.
And so then they kept extending it. And then Biden, just before he got out, commuted all their sentences and said, okay, you're now on probation. So we're commuting the portion of your incarceration I forget what they call that when you're inside.
Yeah.
We're commuting that, and now you're on so now you have to serve you had 2 years probation afterwards, or supervised release, or your 5 years or 1 year. So you're going straight into that, and that's what all those guys did. Which I thought, hey, that's a good move. Like I get it.
What do you think of the pardon power? Should we have a pardon?
I think we should have a pardon.
Really?
I just feel like that they should. And once again, I'm not saying I don't care what the reason is. I just want a reason. I feel like you have to. I don't want to say justify it, because you're justify it in your own mind.
Yeah.
But I need to give an explanation to say, hey, here's why.
Play devil's advocate. Should that pardon power be bestowed upon the president of the United States? Is he the proper person in which you would bestow that pardon power, or would you rather see something more like a parole board revisiting these issues?
Maybe both of them. I just think that the sentences that they give people are so outrageous. I mean, they really are. And there are times when it's just like, I mean, I mentioned the guy Brandon, right? The guy that was the bouncer, that the girl came in, and there's a girl that had come in the club several times, and he's a bouncer. If you met the guy, you think of a bouncer as a tough guy. Brandon wasn't a tough guy. Brandon is like 6'2", but he's kind of, I don't want to say dopey. He's a nice guy.
Sure.
But he's a big guy, but he's just one of those naturally big guys. Doesn't work out. He's just kind of a big guy.
Yeah.
Just the nicest guy. And this girl comes up to him, and she's talked to him a few times, and she's like, look, he knows she's kind of got a drug problem. Like, maybe she does, but most young people that are coming in and out of the club, they're on some kind of drugs periodically, whatever. And he doesn't know if she's hardcore or recreational, but she comes in, she's like, listen, do you know anybody that sells oxys? And he's like, no, but I know a guy that sells, he goes, I think he sells H. He said, and he might be able to get you some.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really, and she goes, can you hook me up with him? He goes, yeah, gives her his phone number.
Yeah.
She goes to him. He says, I don't have Oxy, I got H.
Right.
Here's how it works. Gives it to her. She dies. They go to Brandon and say they want to give him like 10 years. He's like, 10 years, I give her a number. I didn't make any money. I'm not a drug dealer. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Conspiracy
Yeah, I
type
didn't
of
have anything
thing.
to do with it. And they're like, yeah, you traded a couple text messages back and forth to get her them. You know, hey, can I give her this girl number? Blah, blah, blah. I know her. She's good. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and he goes to trial and he loses and he gets like 20 years. And, you know, he was in jail for 20. And I just feel like
Okay, so let me agree with you. That guy deserves a pardon or a commutation, right?
right.
Should that be up to the whims of a politician who may be facing re-election and political blowback for doing this, or political praise for doing that? You know, an elected official, a king that we've elected, who can just wave his magic wand and make that prison go away? Or should there be a process, a board,
I think there should
another level of appeals of judges who may be compassionate like you and I are about a guy like that? Or should it be up to the president of the United States, who may have his own biases at play?
So, I mean, I think everybody has biases, but my fear, my real problem with the president is it's so hard to get there.
That's what I'm
like
getting
they
at,
make
too.
it so difficult.
Right. So this is a guy who has a very busy full-time
Right.
job, whether you like him or you hate him, and who, regardless of who the president is, he is preoccupied by a lot of stuff. This guy's only hope is to get the attention of the president of the
Right. That's
United
what I'm saying.
States
It's very
to give him
difficult.
justice.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's a broken idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of broken ideas. I mean, and what I was going to tell you is I remember there's this one kid who got 20 years who was mailing.
Yeah.
He got 20 years. There were two guys. Same thing. There's the white kid, went to trial, lost, got 20 years. There's the black kid doing the same thing, went to trial, lost, got roughly 20 years, 20, 22 years, whatever. Someone said 18, very close sentences. Within a few years, Obama pardoned the black kid. The white kid didn't get pardoned. And then there's tons of examples of the exact opposite.
Yeah.
But I remember he was walking around and people were like, hey, bro, whatever happened with your such and such? And he would go, you know, this in prison means it's race. Race.
Yeah.
And he'd walk by, he'd go, wrong color, bro. I'm the wrong color. And you see what I'm saying? Like,
And that's what I'm getting at. So again, that guy's freedom is based at that point on whether he could get the attention of the president.
That's what I'm saying.
And
It's
be,
so
and be
hard.
sympathetic to the president. I mean, you can just imagine the opposite could happen, where a racist president would choose to pardon a good-looking white kid and not like the black guy with dreadlocks, right? It could break either
Exactly.
way. I don't like that system. I don't.
I think why not keep it with the president and have why not have like like you said like a pardon department
Well,
or a pardon
there is,
right.
but again, try getting through that.
And the president. So you don't go to them first and then the president. Say they have the ability to do it, and the president does.
Both of them do.
Yeah,
So
both of them do.
The U.S. Department of Justice's pardon office can actually issue the pardon
themselves
in their career
because
people. They're not
probably
political appointees.
Right.
And they will have place in their next election will not be based on that decision.
Right.
I could any kind of board doing it where I just feel it's an awesome responsibility to give to a president, and it certainly can be open to abuse by a president who wants to curry favor with this group or that group or this race or that race. I just think it's a broken system, but I like the idea of having some kind of board to do it.
Sometimes I feel like you need that power. You need to be able to have the guy go in and be able to make a hard decision, and it's not and it is political, and nobody wants to make it, and it's a horrible decision, and somebody has to, and you're going to get blowback. But you know what? I have the power to do it. I'm going to do it. Like sometimes I think I think they should at least have that power. I don't think it should be wielded, crazy. But here's what I was going to say: take Jess for example, right?
Yeah,
been arrested one time, went to jail, went to the RDAP program, got out, changed. Did everything the RDAP told her. Changed her people, places, things. Barely talks to her family because almost all of them are on drugs. The only ones she talks to are the ones that aren't on drugs, and the ones that are on drugs never sees them. She might text them through Facebook or something. Oh, they put a post up and they communicate through the post or something. But went back to school, became a marine mechanic. Just passed all the classes to become a captain. Works for a boating company or for a yacht management company. Is around these, millionaires, doing amazing.
Yeah.
But did I tell you this? The other day, she went to. They were going for like a 4-day cruise, right? So they bring the staff. They got like 3 or 4. So they have the captain, which is her boss, and 3, maybe 4 stews, because she'll also stew, right?
Yeah.
And so they're all going on. And so all of the people that are taking the yacht out show up. And it's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, whatever. They're showing up and they're unloading stuff that they have. And one of the guys is giving, so the stews all come out and they're helping. One of the guys turns and says, hey, and is going to hand her like an assault, like a shotgun or something. And she goes, he goes, oh, you don't have to carry it. Don't worry, it's fine. He's, I get it. And so the boss comes over and he's like, I got it. And he's like, but he's also kind of like, because she was like, and then she's sitting there and they're grabbing stuff. They're like, hey, can you grab this? She's like, yeah, I'll grab that. I can't. There's like, they got a case of bullets because they're going out into international waters.
Yeah.
And they're going to shoot guns.
Yeah.
Off the top
Skeet
of it.
or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Like
right.
I can see that's fun. We can go out here and fire an AK-47 in international waters or something. Yeah. Well, so she turns around to her boss and she says, I can't go. And he's looking at her like, what are you talking about? She goes, I can't go. She said,
is she still on probation?
No, she's not on probation, but this is the way she looked at it.
Yeah.
So the way she and I look at it is we can't even be around. Like you think, well, you can't have a weapon. No, you don't seem to understand. I'm so terrified having seen people come to prison that were with somebody that had a gun. They get charged with constructive possession. So you have a gun on you, and I know you have it. And so what they'll charge me with is constructive possession, which is like, you knew you couldn't have a gun, so you hung out with Tom because Tom had a gun. And so you're in constructive...
It's like for gangbangers and stuff.
Right, but they'll do it with anybody. You're driving in the car, and this guy's got a gun.
Yeah.
Or the guy will take the gun, and he slides it under the seat, and then doesn't want to take responsibility. Well, it's your car. Yeah. You're like, okay, I know it's my car, but that's his passenger seat. Well, he's not taking responsibility for it. It's yours. And now I got to go to prison because I'm a felon. So she looked at it and she went, I can't go. And her boss was like, whoa, come here. He's like, what are you talking about? She said, you don't understand. She said, first of all, she's like, I can't be around guns. I can't be around these guys with guns. I don't know these guys. I don't know that they're going to take responsibility if we get pulled over by the Coast Guard. She was on top of that. She was, I have a captain's license. I'm responsible for this boat. Even though I'm not the captain, I am a captain. So I'm responsible because, if they search that boat and they find drugs.
Do you think these are reasonable fears, or do you think she was overreacting? I don't know. I'm just asking because you're more familiar
I think
with how this works.
I was glad she made the decision.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because the
Play it super conservative.
play it safe, man. There's too many people. Things are too good, and so I want to get her a pardon. I just don't know how to go about doing it. Like, how do I get? I can't go to some law firm and pay them $50,000 to put together a package, and it's like, oh, well, no, you can fill out the free package. Cut the fucking shit. I'm gonna fill out a free package. It's never gonna get there. Like, it's gonna be one among thousands. That's never gonna be. You need somebody to go into the pardon czar and say, hey, I'm a friend of Trump's. Look at this.
Right, but you're making my argument for me
Right.
that this is a broken system.
It is. That's why I'm saying I like the idea of having a paroles commission where you know
okay.
everybody.
All right, I'm with you
gets
there.
looked at.
I'm with you there.
Because she's perfect for this.
I mean, look at this Michelle Fiore case, the Las Vegas lady.
Yeah, that
The
seems
statue ain't getting built.
Right.
No one's getting paid restitution. Right? She got to enjoy her new face or her new boobs or whatever she had done to herself.
Right.
Her daughter had this fantastic wedding with just no repercussions, no justice for the dead police officers, no restitution to the victims. There's a woman named Miriam Adelson, big Trump supporter. She got the Presidential Medal of Honor. Her husband, I guess, was some Adelson, who owned a bunch of casinos in Las Vegas. She went bananas on this and called this pardon a debasement of presidential power. And she's a huge Trump supporter. So again, my thing is in for a dime, in for a dollar. If you're going to believe that the pardon should exist and there's no rules against it, then Trump, did whatever he wants, and that's how it works. So you got to kind of buy into that system. I had only one case that got a pardon. I wasn't the case agent on it, but I was on the team. We talked about it. Governor Rod Blagojevich of Illinois. Oh, yeah. His sentence was commuted, and in Trump's first term, and let him out. No one paid much attention to it, but in Trump's second term, Trump pardoned him. And I think at some point he was going to be the U.S. ambassador to Bosnia or something like that, or not Bosnia.
He was the one that was selling Obama's
Senate seat.
When Obama ran for president, the seat became available, and the governor gets to kind of appoint someone.
Right, because he was Obama was the senior or the junior senator from Illinois at the time. Yeah, and so
he's taking bids.
Yeah, and, while we were on the wire, and I was running the wire on him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought I told the story in your show.
I think you did.
I think
tell
the very
that.
first,
That's
the very first episode when we were kind of doing "This Is Your Life," Tom. Yeah, and I apologize to Colby for having to tell this Michelle Fiore story twice, but I thought that it sparked an interesting story about the pardons.
Yeah,
and so now it's kind of because when first time I told it, we weren't playing the game show, and there was no resolution to the case, and I was surprised by this resolution. All right, I got one more story.
All right.
Sadly, it's a bit of a downer. It's not like a happy, funny, jokey story. I know we like the jokey stories here. Erica was a civilian employee of the U.S. Navy. Okay, so not like a uniformed person, but worked for the U.S. Navy. She was stationed in the Kingdom of Bahrain, small Arabic nation. Her coworkers became concerned because she didn't show up to work one day at the embassy. And so they call the local police, the Bahrain police, to investigate. They go to her apartment. Silence. The cops there break down the door. Mm-hmm. Their rules are a little different than ours. Yeah, Bahrain. What are you gonna do? And they find Erica's body just stabbed to death. Terrible murder. She was hidden under a blanket, not particularly well, but like someone threw a blanket over her. Now, her only dependent that was living in Bahrain with her was her 30-year-old son, Giovanni Pope. He was also nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he did it, obviously. He threw the blanket because he felt ashamed and knew the person, right?
Yeah, you're regular Agatha Christie.
Yeah, and that's something that they do. Like they say it's personal. If you cover up the body, they feel like they're embarrassed or they...
A profiler would tell you exactly that, yeah. So you're good at this.
I did some research.
So a manhunt happens on this island nation of Bahrain looking for Giovanni Pope. Local police find him. They arrest him. Upon questioning by the Bahrain authorities, and I don't know what that questioning looked like, nothing good, he confesses to the murder. Right. He says he killed his mother. Right? He tells the investigators that he killed her because she was blocking him from achieving his life's dream of returning to the USA to achieve stardom in the fashion industry. So he stabbed his mom to death.
Seems reasonable.
I guess. After murdering his mom, he steals her credit card to buy a plane ticket back to the U.S. So he could be with his girlfriend, Plot twist.
Yeah, I didn't see girlfriend coming. Not with the fashion angle.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And follow his fashion dreams. So Bahrain's got kind of a problem, right? They got this guy on their hands, U.S. citizen, and so they call the U.S. embassy, and they're like, well, "What do you want to do?" And the U.S. says, "Well, you know what? There's a military extraterritorial jurisdiction act, which makes it illegal to kill American." Because the woman basically a diplomatic immunity. She was, functionally a diplomat. You can't kill a diplomat. American cannot do things, commit crimes against another American overseas. The idea is Bahrain said, fine, American victim, military situation, American bad guy. We're going to send him back to the U.S. as long as the U.S. promises to prosecute him, and they do.
Right.
Okay. Giovanni then gets turned over to the FBI and NCIS. To face American justice, because again, she was a Navy employee. He gets brought to court in Maryland, where he pleads guilty to his mother's murder in Bahrain. How much time are you going to give him? And he's guilty of the murder pursuant to the Military Extraterritorial Jurisdiction Act. And I'll give you a little clue that. Because I had a case not similar to this, but a murder overseas functionally. Mine was on the high seas. But the government doesn't want to try these cases.
Yeah.
Right? Just imagine how difficult it would be. I mean, eventually you're flying in police from Bahrain who have to tell the story of their questioning, and you got to get translators. The government does not want to try this case, and Giovanni pled guilty and to a plea agreement. Mm-hmm. How much time are you giving Giovanni?
I was going to say 15 years before you said any of that.
I'm not trying to talk you out of that. I just want to give you some. I want to give you some my perspective that these overseas cases, it's the government understands that it is a massive production to put on a trial. And so I'm not trying to talk you out of your guess. To be clear, I didn't even know what your guess was. I just want to present that to you.
And then I was going to drop to 10 when you said that, but now you said that. I'm back at 15. I'm back at 180
and this
months.
is for the game. Because it is 50%. You're
I'm
6
at
and 12
100,
right now.
180.
You don't need to do the math on the months.
Okay.
You give me the years. I mean, 20% of a year is the same as
15 years. Yeah, 15 years.
15 years is your guess?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yes.
The final answer, Giovanni was sentenced to 16 years in federal prison.
Yes. Yes. I was going to drop it to 10 when you started saying this is real. They don't want to try these cases. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Like I had a murder on the high seas case where a guy throws his wife or his girlfriend off a cruise ship. Her death.
I remember you told us that.
12 years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was in the context of a fight, second-degree murder, blah, 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 blah. He pled guilty. I mean, every time I tell the story, people are like, he killed her and only got 12 years. There's people who smoked who got more than that. I don't disagree, but I wasn't involved in the plea negotiations. I just investigated the case.
Right.
But there's no question in my mind that we did not want to bring in a bunch of like Carnival Cruise stewards and Bahamian police who questioned him first and to like try to like rise to our burden of proof. And so that was probably a consideration in that case. I'm sure it was the same situation here.
Yeah. I had a buddy who was running a D lab. Donnie Shackelford. I would love to find Donnie. And it's so funny because Albert Dürer did a wood carving print of where he's got hair down, like he looks like Jesus. It's him. It's the artist kind of as Jesus. I don't know what year it was, like the 1400s or something. Mm-hmm. And boy, Donnie looked like this guy. I mean, long hair. He's a hippie. He traveled with the dead, and he had these girls that would pass out LSD and all this stuff. And so he actually researched who had the least severe punishment for drugs. Mm-hmm. And he went to the island of like St. Martin, and he went to the Dutch side of St. Martin. I'm not even sure if the geography is correct on this, but he went to that. And the problem where it broke, and he set up an entire lab, and he was doing it for like years, 5, 6, 7 years, and running the lab, and he's shipping in these through different ports or different companies. He's shipping in the product. And then he's taking that product and mailing it to the United States.
That's a problem.
Right. So to him, he's like, no, wasn't even doing it in the U.S. You were mailing it.
Yeah.
You now have a conspiracy. It doesn't matter that it extends past the U.S. border, but he didn't know that. He's a very smart guy. Very smart guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, at one point, the way they got onto him was one day he was like, I would go there and fly there and stay there for a couple weeks and run and then come back for 2 months and come back. He's like, but it gets old.
Yeah.
And he said, there's nothing to do in this little island. And so he said, you know what? Let's go ahead and make all that we need for the next 6 months. And so they doubled the order. And when they doubled it, it now triggered something. When they ordered it through like China and the chemicals are coming.
The precursors.
The amount was high enough that it triggered some kind of international investigation. And he gets called one day to go into DSL, is it? The DSL?
Oh, yeah. The
UPS kind of
it's
thing?
like a FedEx. Just a lot of international work. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes into there and walks in. He said there was a girl that was in there. He said, you just flirt with me all the time. I was like, okay. Because then I walked in. I was like, hey, how's it going? And she looked up at him. She went, hey. And he said, I immediately thought, well, that's not good. I mean, we usually have a little banter. Like, what's
She's scared to death.
And she's like, I'll be back in a minute. And she turns around, walks back. He's like, I now realize she was like, shit, I got to call the police.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big call because they were actually waiting for him. So he ended up running out of the store because he sees them coming, right? He runs. He's like,
you think he can outrun this problem?
when he tells the story, he's like, and I remember there was a boat on the horizon. And I remember thinking, if I could just get to the bay and jump in the bay, I can swim, because I know the guy that owns the boat, and I could just get to the boat. And I was like, what happened? He said, I didn't get the boat. He said, I didn't get the bay. He said, they tackled me.
Had he gotten to the boat, they just would have caught him the next day.
Caught him before he got to the boat. So anyway, he was so funny. But he ended up, it's funny too, because when they grabbed him, they put him in a hotel. Well, it wasn't a hotel. It was a prison. But it was a hotel that they had converted to a prison. He said, man, it was nice. He said it was nice. He's like, I would have stayed there for my whole bid there. But he did that. He stayed there for a year fighting because the U.S., when he was fighting extradition, his co-defendant, after a year, was like, I just want to see my family. I just want to. So he says he's not going to fight extradition anymore. And he's like, if he didn't fight extradition, then he's going to cooperate against me. And he said, no, I'm not going to beat the extradition. He's like, which I wasn't going to anyway, although he thought he was. But he's going back and forth. Eventually, he finally signs and says, I'll come. He fought his case for like 5 or 6 years through like 4 different prosecutors came and left. And every time they would go, first it was 30 years.
Right.
Because this is a very serious charge for manufacturing. It went from 30 to 20. Then it went to 15 with the next prosecutor came in and said from 30
These are U.S.
20.
prosecutors who are communicating the deal.
Well, no, after a year, he goes ahead and comes to the United States.
Okay, right. Like,
but
fighting extradition is just a waste of time. Ultimately, I mean, you're just hanging it. You're not able to move on with your life. You're spending all your time trying to explain to the German government why they shouldn't hand you over.
Right. Well, you know what's funny? It was the Dutch government. But you know what's funny about that is that he the whole time he was pissed off at this girl, which was one of the, I don't know if she was one of the angels. The girl's name, her parents were hippies.
Right.
Her name was Paradise. You couldn't make this shit up. And so Paradise, he basically abandoned him. But she did pay his U.S. attorney $100,000. This guy, look, the article that I had of him.
His attorney in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Not the U.S. attorney.
No, I'm sorry. His American defense attorney. Okay. So first she paid this guy in the one in there, paid him and paid this one, but then she just disappeared once he took. Well, actually, way before that she disappeared. He it was just so funny. He was so upset about it, right? And I talked to him while I was still in prison. I talked to him like after he'd been released, like 3 or 4 years later. Spoke with him on the phone, and he was back with Paradise. I was like, I thought you hated her guts. He's like, look, she was scared, bro. She was scared.
The heart wants what the heart wants. Yeah.
Like, come on, stop. Anyway, so what happened was, when he got back here, they were saying 30 years. And then after like a year or so, that attorney gets that U.S. attorney gets moved. The assistant U.S. attorney, whatever, gets moved. New one comes in, says, "I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna give you 20 years." He's like, "I'm not doing 20 years," because his whole thing is that he's like, first of all, they have to go back. There's no evidence. Because they actually took the evidence and had like their evidence is their process is completely different. Like they photographed everything and then they took it. And he's like, they're selling it. They're using it in their own labs. It's done. They flew in, had to fly in people because they acted like it was like a lab or something.
Yeah,
right?
it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, they flew in. They had to go through. They had a special team coming. Like, you're not going to have that special team come to the United States. You're not going to have their prosecutors come. You're not going to have their people come. And he said the same thing you did. Then it went from 20. Then they got a new prosecutor, 15
They
to
don't want to try
15.
this case, yeah.
Then, like a year later, that prosecutor for some reason gets moved. New prosecutor comes in and says, "I'm gonna do you a favor, 10." And he's like, "I feel like if I could wait any longer, I'd get down to 5."
Every prosecutor has less and less skin in the game.
Yes.
This is a reassigned case that they did no work on. They just want this off their plate.
Right, like they want to take the new case of the new.
Absolutely, the case that they were there for the genesis of.
Well, here's the thing. By that point, he'd done like I said, like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So the new prosecutor was like, "Look, here's the deal. We're gonna recommend the drug program.
RDAP?
Yeah, you'll get a year off for that. You'll get good time." He's like, literally, you take this deal.
Yeah.
You're out of here in like 2 years. And that's what happened. So he actually, because he's still in the U.S. Marshals, like the holdover is a private prison, actually, he was being held in. And so he took the deal. He came. He almost went into RDAP immediately. So he was gone in 2 years.
Well, how much time total did he spend in prison for this crime?
Probably
including his time while he was dickering with the
7 years,
DOJ.
6 or 7 years.
Better than 20.
Yeah. No, better than 30. The first
yeah,
deals
right,
were
okay.
30. I had no idea how serious that crime, but just the same thing. He's like, what were they going to do? What are they going to present? Like, he's like, the judge in the United States is going to be like, you're not presenting evidence that we can't see the evidence. Like, you're not, where's this lab? Like, well, the lab's gone. It's been, so you're not, well, then bring in the cops that arrest him. Like, you want to fly in 20 guys? You want to fly in, like, he could make it a circus and very expensive for a prosecutor that's like, I don't want to deal with this shit. It's not even my case. It's not even the guy's case that I got it from. Anyway. So yeah, I can see it. Did you see the documentary? And then we can wrap this up. I know you got to make it.
I'm good.
Did you see? There's a documentary about a woman that disappeared on a cruise ship.
Everyone's been telling me about that because they know I did a couple cruise ship crimes.
Right.
And I've not seen it, but and I'm told it's kind of open ended. Like you don't.
It is. It's horrible.
You don't really know what happened to her. But
I watched the whole thing.
I've only been. Was it good?
I watched the whole thing thinking it was going to be solved. It's not solved.
Which is my problem. Which is my problem.
When it ended, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
It's like kissing your sister. You don't get it. Yeah, I get it. Not your sister, my sister. I'm sure your sister's delightful. I just got back from Iceland. And,
Okay.
And every Icelandic person said the same thing to me. I mean, it's funny. No. They said, they go, do you know how many murders we have in Iceland a year?
3, 5,
One.
Oh.
We have one murder a year. And so my son's like, so after that happens, everyone just sort of breathes easy that it's not them for that year. And I was like, well, how do they decide who it is? The entire nation has, I think, 129 people incarcerated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
In like in Norway,
Yeah.
they had like when I was there, because I went for a family reunion, they had a record amount of murders that year or the year before, and they were talking, it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
It had gone from the average number, or the previous year had been 7. It had jumped to like 13.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweden was like that for a while, where I think like one year the only murder they had was their prime minister who went for a walk one night and someone walked up and stabbed him to death for political. This is many, many years ago.
Right.
And that was like the one murder of the year. And so, yeah, other nations just aren't as murderous as we are.
Yeah.
It's been a few months since I've been here, and the last episode we did took forever to break 100,000, took forever to break 200,000, but it's still going. Yeah,
Right,
it's got a real tail on it.
It's got legs.
It's got legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's like it becomes more and more important just to interview interesting people, good stories, because the better the story is, the less the other things like the title and thumbnail are going to help us jump out the gate.
What do you think? What is that X factor? What is it that makes a episode successful versus an episode not successful?
Well, I in my opinion, and Colby and I haven't well, first of all, we don't really know. But in my opinion, it's like, let's say you have an overall story and you're telling different this is why I think yours keep going and going and going, because it's a similar thing, even though they're different stories. Let's say you're telling a story about being whatever, you're running a Ponzi scheme. But in that Ponzi scheme, you've got like different, like you tell this story and then you tell another story. And in those overall, throughout all the stories that it's weaved together is the main Ponzi scheme. And these are things that happened along the way, and they're kind of anecdotal stories along the way. And at the end, you got caught, and then you went to prison, went to jail, or fought your case, and blah blah blah. Went to.
So
and
it's the stickiness of the story, the idea of keeping people on board.
Which yours is different.
Yeah, because I'm giving short stories.
You're giving short stories, but the common kind of thread is that they're FBI stories. You're involved, people like you. And I think that as a result, even though it's not an overall arching story, main story, I still think that you're the common thread. So, and you're a good storyteller, and people like it, and they're you and I joking around, so they tend to watch a lot of that video.
It's the chemistry.
The chemistry,
we hear that all the time in
the comments are so effusively nice about how well we work together.
You should do this once a week.
Yeah, you should move to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they don't seem to understand. You're driving 4 hours.
And with no pay, still has not paid me a penny for the gas money.
We're waiting for.
I want to pay you. Colby says no.
He's got this sexy studio that he built out with a massage room, the Jenkem fridge.
This is your payment right here. Like, I'm just waiting for someone to call you and say, "Is this Tom Simon, private investigator?" Yes, I found you at Matthew Cox, and I have a big case for you.
The last time I was spotted in public, I can't remember what airport. I travel so much. I was Newark Airport 3 weeks ago. And someone stops me and goes, "You're the guy," and I go, "What guy?" And he goes, "You're the guy from the Matt Cox show." And I was like, I can't duck this guy.
But you do get clients. Have you got some clients or not really?
I've gotten clients from the show. I've met people from the show. I've made friends with you and Colby. I have so much fun when I come here on the show. I read all the comments on YouTube, 80% of which say I'm a nice guy. The other 20% think I'm terrible. I can live with those numbers. And so this has been nothing but upside for me. So thank you for having me on.
Nice. That's all I want. A little appreciation.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
I don't even want your gas money. You keep your filthy money. I'm here for the friendship. I love this new studio.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Have you given your audience a tour of your new studio yet?
No, because it's not right. We still have a few more things to do, and then we're going to take a bunch of photos of it, and I'll put it on because we have a website, but all the website photos are dummy photos.
Ah, okay.
So then I'll put real photos. We'll have Colby behind the desk. It'll have you and I talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it'll take pictures of all the different.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, for the people at home, there's an entire buffet over there. You have a refrigerator here. One is full of booze. The other's full of water and soft drinks. And there's a third one filled with Jenkem. Because he has a lot of ex-cons who come in. He wants to keep it real.
What is Jenkem? Why is that ex-con? What is that?
Jenkem, isn't that the booze that you guys make in prison out of like ammonia and like cleaning fluids and stuff? What do you call it?
Hooch. They called it hooch.
I think Jenkem's the same thing.
Is it? Okay. Maybe they call it that.
Maybe I got it wrong. I got to hit my Urban Dictionary.
I will find out. I'll go.
Every time I've been inside, I was allowed to leave at the end of the day. So.
You never got the full experience.
I didn't get the full immersion. It is so good to see you again. It's been a couple months.
Thank you. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, if you want to get in touch with Tom, we will leave his links in his description. In the description box, you can go to his Instagram, TikTok. It's Tom Simon Investigates.
No, it's just Simon Investigations.
It's just Simon Investigations?
Simon Investigations.
On your thing, it says Tom Simon.
Well, that's my name, Tom Simon. But I promise you that my website, my Instagram, everything about it is Simon Investigations. Sorry. Follow the link, though.
Simon Investigations. He is a licensed FBI, a licensed Florida investigator, private investigator.
Well, private investigator in the state of Florida. I also, if I can plug this real quickly, anyone who's watching who is part of a group or an organization or a company that has puts on a conference or brings in outside speakers, I'm trying to do more speeches. I have speeches on how to prevent fraud at your company, how to use FBI behavioral science techniques to increase sales in your business, and if you're an investigator, how to investigate financial crimes better. So I would love to give you a discussion about that, maybe come talk to your people.
Nice, right? Nice. That was a good plug. It was totally, yeah, it was good. All right. See ya.
See ya.